We should have something in that fridge.
Cool,
We're
man.
good? We're live? Boom.
Yes,
Jake,
sir.
we're live.
What up? What up?
You're not the only Jake I know, but I promise you that I will not also call you Jakey Poo.
Okay.
I got a very good, my buddy Darst, Anthony Darst.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
he's the
that's
homie.
my dude. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the homie. I've known him for years.
Yeah.
I call him Darsty Poo, and he
Yeah.
fucking hates it.
Yeah, yeah.
Here you go. So I call him Darsty Poo, and then there's this buddy Jake who we all three worked at Guitar Center at the same time, and I love these men, and they're men. Like, I truly respect them, and I love them so much. I call them Jakey Poo and Darsty Poo. One of them hates it, one of them doesn't like it, but I just think it's funny, and it's such a small world. Like, when I seen you were working with Anthony Darst, it was just one of those moments where it was just like, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
because he's been hovering around for a while,
Yeah. Yep.
doing shit. I mean, he's working with Lazy Bone and all the Bone Thug guys.
Yep.
He's been doing some cool shit for a while,
Yeah.
and that was kind of like,
He's a talented dude, man.
well, and then Jeremy Blake too. We talked about him before the podcast started. Like, he was on Greg Chilton's podcast a while back, and they talked about you as well.
Yeah.
So then it was like, okay, so now not only do I know of this dude Jake from Blue Felix, now not only do I know of him, and we've kind of crossed paths a few times, but like, a few of the homies.
Yeah,
so I was
sure.
like, all right, I gotta have him on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
podcast.
yeah, dude.
So
No doubt. Yeah, yeah.
you're gonna be back on in September, but old fuckboy over here
Oh, you broke something?
canceled.
Oh.
No. Something came up, but yeah, I wanted to make sure we had a good foot forward for you. So thank you for
sure.
rescheduling and being
Course,
out here. I
dude. Yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
having you,
of
man.
course.
And
Yeah, most certainly.
what
What
the
is it?
fuck does that mean, Steve? That doesn't make any sense. What do you turn his audio up?
Turn. Hey. There it's coming.
You can't just look at me, point up, and say Jake. You got to just tell me to turn his fucking microphone up, bro.
I thought he was doing the YMCA.
He's from the TV world. He works for like actual real production.
Really?
So from the TV world, they have like sign language.
Oh,
and
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
In the podcasting world, when I'm barely paying attention, I have no idea what the fuck he's trying to tell me. I'm trying to stay concentrated here. So when I start getting fucking,
he's doing the old baseball signals.
that's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm like, we have not rehearsed this. What is going on?
Cool, man.
But yeah, it's been a small world. So I was like, fuck, dude, I got to get you on. So one thing I wanted to ask you, man, because a lot of people have talked, you had or have, I don't know what the current state is, like this crazy house, this crazy building, this crazy property. So explain, what was that? I want to start there.
Okay,
Like, what was this crazy place that everybody kept talking about?
The compound.
The compound.
Yeah, they call it the compound.
I love
it. It's, I mean, statute.
You still have it?
Yeah, oh yeah, I
Okay.
just left there. That's
Okay.
why it's so far. But so I guess, statute of limitations, I talk about it. I didn't in the beginning, but basically in the early 2000s, I'm older than the hills, but so back then I actually moved out there full-time grow up, and I wanted to be out there, so I needed the land and the area and that went on,
Here, pull this back to you.
Yo. All right, so that went on for probably 9 years, and then so that's how it began, to be in the woods with a grow up.
Okay.
And then it got raided in 2011, and then that all kind of died down, and then everything was cool from there, and now I've just ended up at this spot. But it's 30 acres in the woods, and it's my house, and then it's a smaller shed. I say small shed, but it's not very small, and I say shed, and it's not very shed-like. But it's
like
finished.
a barn, right?
Yeah, I'd say that too, but it's all finished tin, like furnace. I mean, full, like sound foamed. It's
like a modern barn, not like an old hay barn.
No, like the stage will rival like the old Station 4s. Like people come in and they're like, dude, what the fuck? This
so you
place is like a
converted
full
it
club.
from a basically you convert it from a grow room, a massive grow up.
Well,
into,
yes. So the grow up. So there's the house, a smaller building, which is still a good building, and then there's a big building. And then the small building was the grow up, the house, and then the big building has 3 massive overhead doors, and it's my 2 shops, storage, and then the far right is, I call it the jam room, and it's a big stage, full front of house. I mean, slamming, full light show, full like easy 100 people standing there, full like private like rock shows. But everybody would always come out and they'd be like, dude, why don't you have big ass parties here? And I didn't want to tell them. Well, because about 100 feet away is a lot of felonies, so I don't bring people
Right,
around
sure,
here.
sure,
I'd
yeah.
always be like, yeah, I don't know, man, whatever. And then finally, once that died down, my years of the growing and stuff, then I started having parties out there, and
Sure.
we did some shows out there. We called it the Compound Throwdown, and everybody got like a golden ticket, like the Willy
Yeah.
Wonka, type of thing, and it allowed you and a friend per ticket. That's how we kind of kept track on who's coming and how many people and how many kegs and who's all going to be there and yada yada yada.
Gotcha.
So and it's cool. It's out in the sticks. I'm out of the city limits.
Sure.
So sheriff out there. I mean, there's real no ordinance for anything, like nothing like that. And there's just a sheriff and a deputy, just
Now,
old
for the
school.
people that are confused, you're talking about noise.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. No noise ordinance.
Right.
No 24-hour gunfire. Like anything goes down there. I mean, John Wheeler comes out a lot, and he likes Tannerite and high-powered rifles and stuff. And these guys, sometimes I got to be like, Wheeler,
Yeah, John's
Wheeler,
one of the
Wheeler,
lefties.
Wheeler.
John's
Yeah.
one of the lefties you got to worry about because he actually does shoot guns and likes to
oh,
blow
yeah,
shit
dude.
up. Like,
No,
if John
yeah.
is a lefty that goes nuts, like
these
worried
guys,
about it.
these guys load up like microwaves and refrigerators with enough Tannerite. Like it'll blow a refrigerator, like a dishwasher, like
Yeah.
the top of the canopy line of the trees, like that high. I'm like, bro, this has got to be like, we're like, it hits and everybody's like the reverberation.
So
of
do you
the
have
bomb.
do you have a lot of guns, or is
Yeah.
it just all your buddies have
I
a lot
do,
of
and
guns?
then people bring them out, and like Target and blah blah blah. I don't have as many as I used to, just because.
Did you grow up in that area
No.
or in that like type of environment, like the kind of out in the sticks, or were you a
Yes.
city boy?
Yes, no. So I was actually adopted when I was young. So well, actually my mom and then my dad adopted me, and so I moved. I grew up on a reservation.
How old were you when you were
Two.
adopted? You were
Two.
two. So do you remember anything before you were adopted?
No, well, I mean, I have short like glimpses, but basically the story is actually pretty dope. But actually, I was with my mom, and then we moved in with my dad, and then my dad adopted me, and then we were super dirt poor till about 10 or 11, and then when you're a kid, you don't really like notice money. You don't understand that type of stuff, and then
Right.
life got a little different, and I was just being a kid and whatever, and so basically I grew up on the res, dirt poor, and then I was about 11, and then that's when like Mystic started, and then life changed significantly like
What do you
around
mean?
me.
Explain for people that don't.
Okay,
I think I know what you're
okay,
talking about,
okay.
but a lot of people don't.
Yep, yep.
So Mystic started. You're
Yep,
talking about
Mystic Lake,
the
it's a-
casino,
yeah, yep.
and life around
Tribal
you
gaming, yeah.
started to change.
Yep.
I assume what you mean is for the better.
Yes,
So the quality of
yes.
life around you got better.
it did, but just like the old saying is, more money, more problems, and,
Sure.
and it really, it would attract. I call it the curse of the blessed. It's like life is good and we're good to people and just be a good person, all this, but that type of thing attracts.
So you got
People-
adopted by native people. So you're a white dude.
Yep.
This is super
Yep.
interesting.
Yep.
So you're a white dude that got adopted by natives.
Yep.
Got brought back to the res.
Yep.
Originally not doing very well.
Dirt poor, no bare feet,
Casino
no carpet.
shows up.
Yeah. Yep.
Then
Until I was about
then
11.
you're doing
yep.
very well.
Yeah, man, I got
And
some.
not
some-
necessarily like rich, just so that people don't like. I think there's a common misconception
Yep.
on what res money is
Yeah.
and what it equals.
Mhm.
It's not like these motherfuckers are getting $100,000 a month. It's not like
Not
you go
anymore.
like it's
Yeah.
not like these guys are Saudi princes.
No.
But when you go from literally nothing to
Yeah.
like an upper
Yep.
middle class
Yep.
standard of living, it seems like you're rich.
Yeah.
Because you've learned how to live with so little for so long.
Oh,
Would
yeah,
you agree
man.
with that?
Oh, 100%.
Is that an accurate way to
100%.
describe
And
it? I don't think most people understand that.
No, it was
Being
all,
in Minnesota,
Yeah,
I've grown
yeah,
up
and so
around
it was.
and I'm part native.
Yeah.
The other
Yeah,
yeah. Ones.
yeah. From
about
north.
Ojibwe,
Okay, I
Chippewa,
was gonna
yeah.
say Ojibwe. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
not
dude.
that it matters, but
Yeah. No, that's cool. So
it's
I was.
a different vibe.
It's
a
way different, dude. And
uh,
I wouldn't change a thing, dude. It really, it like shaped who I am. You know what I mean? So I have all like the values and the morals and that type of stuff. Family, very like, like your word is your bond, your honor, and like that whole kind of thing. And so, and of course, growing up, not looking like all the rest of my family, I got heavily tormented by
Yeah,
the
of
older
course. Yeah,
native
yeah,
boys.
yeah, you get
called
hazed, yep.
everything
Yep.
into the book, but
when did they start calling us mudblood? Was that just a straight up Harry Potter reference?
oh, you
Like if you're mixed and the native
Well,
the
it's-
native kids called me mudblood. Is that literally from Harry Potter, or does that have some reference?
Well, it's
That
and
goes-
it can be different, and of course it'll be
I'm just curious, and I'm not trying
10
to get
different
into
native
anything
cats,
too
and then
crazy.
there'd be 10 different like
Explanations for it?
So
Yeah,
everybody's got some reason why, but basically from where I'm from,
I just don't remember hearing it until Harry
Yeah,
Potter,
yeah.
so I thought they straight lifted
Yeah.
it from Harry Potter.
and very well could be. I've never seen Harry Potter, so I'm not sure. And I
It's
believe
what they call a mixed blood person
well,
in that one too.
So
Like
I've heard like Muck Boy,
Muck Boy.
and that's half native, half black, and
Yep.
then there's all different types of stuff. I've been called everything, Wasichu and all that, which is white hard R. Basically Christopher Columbus, land take, all that. I've been called everything in the book. But
Dude, you know what's really interesting about the Christopher Columbus thing? His 4 journeys, he never actually set foot in North America.
really,
Like, he went to the Caribbean. Like, he was obsessed with Cuba.
yeah,
Like, I didn't know that until, like,
Yeah.
super recently. Like,
Yeah.
within, like, the last 6 months, I
Damn.
just found this out.
and,
Like,
and I don't know, too much about.
the guy we give all the credit for,
Yeah.
like, even here in Minnesota.
Yeah,
It's like, he never came here, dude. He was, like, close.
Yeah, he was lost. Yeah,
he was
lost.
close, but
like I
that's
said,
so
I wouldn't change a thing, man. It really it shaped me. And my dad is a Navy SEAL back in Vietnam, so he's got a Native
Wow.
American Navy SEAL. Grew up with very strict in that regard. You know what I mean?
Sure,
So he,
disciplined.
100%, dude. It's like this. I mean, he shaped my life, dude. You know what I mean? And so even as a young kid, what really trips me out is even as 2, 3, and 4 years old, very young, to get my name, my given name, it walks no path. And you say a Shankul Manishni. And so that's how you say my name, and it means walk no path. And so to think about metaphorically later in life, I didn't take a standard path, you know what I mean? But it didn't, my grandfather gave me that name way back when I was just a kid playing in the woods, for different reasons. And
Sure.
as far as I think, or what I think is because all
Stay
the kids
close
are,
on that mic.
I never really followed the rules. You know what I mean? They're supposed to. I was hyper. I guess now they got terms for it and everything. It was ADHD. I'm probably definitely on the spectrum. We got the tism sprinkled in, a whole bunch of. So the tism was tisming, and they'd be like, "All right, kids, go do this and that and the other thing," and I'm over there in the pond, and and they're like, "We told you don't get in the water," and it's always, just a pain in the ass, So they're like, yeah, he doesn't walk the path in life, and then later metaphorically live that way. So it kind of trips me out looking back. And then I'm like, dude, walks no path. That's just a dope name.
Sure.
I'm like, that's really, I never even thought about it like that. And so it's
it would be cool. It would be a great album name.
yeah, walks no path.
Great
Yeah.
name of an album.
Yeah.
It'd be a little weird for a band name.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it would work as a band
Yeah.
name though. It would work as a band
Yeah.
name, but you're kind of you better be a hardcore band.
For
if
sure.
If you
For
name
sure.
your band
For
Walks
sure.
No Path,
Yeah.
you better be a
Yes.
fucking hardcore
Yes.
band, dude. But
Yes.
it would be a great album
Yeah.
name
Or-
in any genre.
Or so a lot of people that have known me throughout my life, and XL, guitar player, Blue Felix, for many, many, many years, everybody's got a story, and everybody has, everybody's life is different. And in my particular set of life stories and how it happened is very unique and, awesome. I wouldn't change a thing, but it would be a good title of a book, the life story.
Yeah, that would be a great name
the
of the
whole
book, yeah.
thing was Walks No Path,
So you referenced how it kind of manifested itself later in life, but what do you think your grandpa was referencing when he gave you that name? Do you think he was saying this is a white kid who's not going to be forced to walk the white boy path the native path,
All
or
of
do you
those
think he
things.
was thinking more metaphorically or artistically, or do you think it was kind of literal, this is a kid
and
who
that I don't
walks
know.
no
I always thought it was being a kid, because I don't go on the path, I play in this, and I don't follow the rules, and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm trying to make all the kids laugh,
or
and
maybe it's like the native version of Trailblazer, you
create
make
your own way,
path.
dude.
Yeah.
And which looking back, and now you say that it totally is, dude, and it's super cool.
Do you
the
think
more I
that
think
is
about it,
what
it could
he was
be,
thinking,
Yeah,
is
and he
something
died
like
when I was
that?
10, so I
You
never
can
got
only
to
speculate.
ask later. Yeah,
You can only speculate, but do you think it is something more like
could-
that, something deeper?
I do think it's more deeper.
Not just you being an
as a
obnoxious-
kid, I'm because I'm
hyper
over
little
here
kid,
being dumb.
right.
But looking back, he was probably in life. Maybe he saw things, in me that, like my dad's is water warrior. Got that as a kid, and then became a
Marine.
SEAL, a Navy SEAL.
Oh,
so it's
a SEAL, yeah.
it's just that's kind of trippy, like the
I wonder about that
foreshadowing.
stuff. Yeah,
you know?
or is it a self-fulfilling prophecy? Once they give you that name, you lean into it.
Yep.
I think about that stuff a lot, dude. I
Yeah.
wonder, and it's probably both. It's probably a little bit of like wisdom.
Yeah.
And they can probably see something in you
Yeah.
that you can't see, that nobody else can see, and that's why that name
it's
comes
cool.
to them
Super
from
cool,
some
dude.
ethereal
Yep.
plane,
Yep.
whether it's an angel or a spirit or
world.
God directly. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah.
Or they just give you a
Creator, yeah.
random ass name and then you just like feed into
Yep,
it. You know,
yep,
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I don't know, but I think about that shit a lot.
And it is cool. I mean, it was like, you know, it was a very like unique upbringing, and then I became really tight with my biological dad. Like later, like once he
When
kind
did
of like.
you meet him?
Well, I had always known. I'd seen him a handful of times when I was young. I would like once in a blue moon, like I'd go to my grandma's.
Oh,
often.
so you knew you were adopted?
Yeah,
the whole time, too.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I've been with my mom the whole time. So my mom just remarried, and then my dad like adopted me into the tribe.
Oh.
So when I say adopted, it's
so
like
you
my
weren't
dad adopted me.
adopted.
Not like, you know, here's your prize. You know, pick the kid. And, you know, like.
Right. Okay. I misunderstood that.
Yeah.
Or
No, and
actually, you know what? You sold that. You sold that like you were adopted.
And
I'm not
yes.
apologizing
No,
for shit,
oh,
Jake.
shit, I'm throwing shit
I'm
at
not
you.
apologizing for shit.
No, and you're right. You're right. Come on, but I think of it as like, because a lot of people ask me like, you're from the tribe. I say, well, I was adopted. You know, because they automatically, the people locally
Understood.
assume,
Now I
you know,
get it.
certain type of thing, and
Sure.
just because there's a, you know, things happen when, you know, especially with like money, it makes people assume things, and then, you know, you get this rap, and
Right.
you know, when it's just not the case. You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
like. It's, you know, my family's like super great people and just been incredibly blessed, you know, and so but it comes with you know, a lot of you know, fake friends, fake people with like
Right.
different agendas. They want to be around you for
Right.
different reasons and stuff like that. You know?
Well, and you probably experienced that kind of like twofold
Both sides,
you had a little bit
100%.
of money all of a sudden,
Yeah.
but then all of a sudden you're a musician as well.
Yeah.
And so your band starts, and those.
Yeah, 100%.
I wonder if
dude.
that, and you could probably attest to this
Yeah.
better than anybody, because you hear about this in L.A. with the rich kids.
Yep.
Oh, he only made
Yep.
it because he was rich.
100%.
I wonder if there's credible truth to that. I know there's some truth to it, but I wonder how credible that truth is. And
Yeah.
here's my question is, if you're already kind of the popular kid because you got a little bit of cash, and even if you're not rich, right, you just got a little bit of cash,
Yeah.
maybe some flashy toys. We all knew
Yep.
that kid. And he starts a band, right? So now you're kind of the cool kid too, right? And if your band's kind of good,
Yeah.
right? Meaning like maybe not everybody loves your style of music because it's too heavy.
For sure,
or,
for sure,
or
for
maybe
sure.
it's not heavy enough.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But it's still like kind of good.
You can't
like,
deny that it's like
it's
you
kind
know,
of good.
Yeah.
Like-
yeah. Yeah, it's not
Like-
just your grandma being like, "Good job." It's like strangers are like, "Wow, dude, this
You can't really.
You know?
I think would you agree that it's kind of like a self-feeding cycle that those three
yeah.
things kind of feed into each other? It's not just one, like,
Yeah.
because you could have a great band and no one gives a fuck.
Well, you gotta.
You could be the cool kid and want to
For
start a
sure.
band and still nobody
For
shows
sure.
up. You can be the rich kid, but if you're an
sure.
asshole and your band sucks,
sure.
nobody's going to show up.
For sure.
So you kind of have to have all three of those. But
Yep.
once you have those other two
Yep.
things going, now again you have
Yep.
false friends. You have people
Yep.
trying to get favors, like.
And I say there's, you know, three things ultimately to make it. Like number one, you can have any of the two, but you ideally would have three, and that's you got to have money or
Say
resources.
for the young kids, make sure they can hear you.
Yes,
Stay
so
close to the mic.
yes, all right. So I get, I move. I don't know how to sit
You're good.
still. I don't walk
Well,
no
you're a
path.
front man.
You know,
Pull that
but
fucker
yeah,
around
yeah.
with
I'm
you,
like,
man.
I can't take it out of the thing. Well, then it'll be so.
Technically, you can. If you really
okay,
want to do that,
would,
you can.
That might be a little.
If you really prefer to do that, and then it's Velcroed right here.
That would super help. So three things: money or resources, or somebody close, silent investor that has some way, because you can't deny that to be able to play music, instruments aren't cheap. It takes fuel to go places, and fuel is not cheap, and you know those things. And then to hire guys to make your sound be good and the lights to work cool, you know, obviously takes money. So you need to have money or resources. You got to have some sort of talent, like
That's
at
still
some
super
degree.
far from your face. You got it.
Some degree, and then you got to have connections, some type of connections. You can have all the money in the world and all the talent in the world, and you're not going to do nothing if you don't know where to go. You could have all the talent in the world and all the connections, and nobody cares, because ultimately it's going to take money, you know, to do it. And then you can have whatever the other two was, but which point and example, like turn on, you know, any radio most of the times. Why do you go see these big badass shows and the openers are I don't, they're kind of trash. They are kind of trash. So it's like because somebody had a bunch of money and they had the right connection, and then they just boom, now they're up there. And how many? Dude, this thing, I flail too much to be in this. Like, I'm like, rah,
It's all good, man.
which is difficult for me to like. That's why I don't really like people like, are you going to this show? Are you going to that show? Like big shows that come to town. And I don't really go to shows, because it's like I was thinking of the meme where the kid is in his full football regale and he's standing in the crowd watching the game. And it's like, that's how you feel. It's like, let me up there, dude. Especially when you're watching this opener and thousands of people and they're just kind of dropping the ball. You're like, oh, I can't watch this, dude. Like, how did you get up there?
Sure.
Like, let me get up there, dude, one time. And then,
Right.
Come on. So it's,
When did you decide music was going to be your thing?
So, wild enough, I had always kept in contact with my biological grandma. She took care of me in the summers because I guess I was too hyper. Nobody could handle me, so they'd send me off to her place. And I have a couple of reasons there. So she was a seamstress at JCPenney's for years and years and years, and she taught me how to sew. So that's where a lot of the stuff that I make. You'll see, I just made 10 pieces 2 years ago, New York Fashion Week. I've been to Miami, Art Basel, as a designer, stuff like that. So that's where the sewing came from. But music, many, some odd years ago, she's got this handwritten packet, before Ancestry, DNA Finder, or whatever all that is. So on that side of my family, they came here from overseas. It was 2 brothers and a cousin, 2 cousins and a brother, whatever it was. And they came over here with a fiddle and a washboard or whatever, and they came over here and they played wedding parties. So they came to America with music. And then my grandmother was in the church choir with that played piano just beautifully my whole life. So there's always been music there. You know what I mean? So I think that somehow it had to have come from there. And then my bio dad was a singer.
So you think it's in your genes?
Yeah.
But when did you decide it was going to be your thing?
Yes. So
what was it a moment? Or was it a slow burn?
Slow burn. So the few times that I was exposed to my biological dad, I always thought it was just cool, man. Long hair. He was in a band called Lusty Skank, and he's just old 80s rocker dudes. He was in Hairball for probably 13 years. He just recently retired, which they kill it. The Hairball's slaying it for.
So your
for
biological dad was in Hairball.
He just retired a year and a half ago.
For 13 years.
Yep, from 2010 until a year and a half ago.
So it's literally in your genes.
Yeah, 100%. He was literally out there killing it. I mean, just absolutely killing it, dude. And so it definitely was in the genes. And then to come to find out, I'm trying to stay on track. I get really off course, and I never stay on the path of the story. So
You're good, dude.
on my mother's side, back in Germany, Oma, grandma, she, to make money to feed the kids, played harmonica in the pubs. Literally just a woman with a harmonica. So I'm like, that was and my mother's side. So it's I got the harmonica playing grandma in Germany back in the 30s.
Yep.
And then I got, this side where the guys come over on a boat and they got a fiddle. And then my grandma, just even recently, within years, we had talked about it. And there was always this violin fiddle hanging up in, in the grandma room where nobody ever sits on the furniture, that room in her house.
Yeah.
And there's this thing that looked like she got it at Home Furniture with flowers in it. And she's like, that's the actual fiddle they
that
came
was
here
a
with.
generational thing.
Yeah.
Where you had a living room, no one was allowed
Yeah,
to
nobody
go
touched
in.
nothing. Yeah. You
My grandma had one of those.
Yeah, I think everybody
Fucking
have it.
weird,
Yeah,
dude.
it's super weird.
Super fucking
Creepy,
weird.
but she's got the
creepy.
fiddle up on the wall
Great
with the
word for it.
flowers in it, and she's like, that's the actual one that brought us here. So I thought that was really cool, and then
Super interesting.
yeah, it's super awesome. So I'd always loved music. I remember as a young teen, some of the first times I heard kind of grunge is really when I was a skateboard kid, dirtball, and very outcast, probably because of my home life. I grew up, all my cousins, we listened to hip hop. We're hip hop kids, we rap and that type of stuff. I grew up Too Short and all that. I recite all that stuff. That's where I get a lot of my rapping and stuff from. But I love all kind of music. I play a lot of acoustic. I feel like it's definitely in the blood. I started my first little punk band. I was 13. Some kids at school had no idea what we were doing, and even before that, my bio dad. The few times, what I was getting at is a few times I got to hang out with him and stuff. I'm looking at him. He's in a band. He's got a tattoo. I'm like, man, he's cool. And he had given me an electric guitar. It was the Eddie Van Halen one with the stripes.
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
And I didn't have an amp, nothing like that. You know, we didn't have no money. So he had told me, he's like, dude, just rest it up against the bathtub and it'll like reverberate. So it's as loud as I could get. And I couldn't play shit. And there was this girl that I really wanted to go. I ended up, I wrapped a little needle with ink when I was like 12 and I stick and poke her name in my forearm in like 3rd grade. And my mom was furious. But I was like, I'm going to tattoo her name. And I knew she liked Ween, you know, push your little daisies and make them come up. And I'd try to like learn, you know, I'd try to learn little songs and I'd bring it to homeroom and I'd just like walk around with this guitar hoping that like she would like think I'm cool or give me a chance or whatever, you know. And so finally I was like, you know what, I'm going to actually try to learn this. And I had some friends that actually were like pretty good for how old they were. And Kavoo, as a little punk band. And I used to go watch them in the basement and I was just mesmerized. I was like, dudes. And then if you ever heard of Big Fucking Skull? So Big Fucking Skull was like the cool older band and the Prozac Children. Like these were all like from my area. I go to these like underground punk shows and just be like,
okay,
damn, dude, I want to do this so bad, you know? And then even as a young kid, the few times again that I would get dropped off at my bio dad's house, it was basically when nobody could handle me and I'm too over the top. They could drop me off. Sure. And he'd be like, you know, all he does is party. So he's like, well, we got this kid in the house. What am I going to do with him? He'd be like, well, what do you want to do, kid? Like one of the first times I was over there, he had some old Briggs & Stratton motor. He put on Pantera. I just remember big weed things growing. And I'm like probably like 8, 9, 10 in that era. And he put down a big piece of cardboard and he set this Briggs & Stratton and he gave me a couple of wrenches, turned on Pantera and went back to partying with his friends. And I sat alone and took apart this motor watching Dimebag as a kid. And like, those were my exposures to music. And then he'd be like, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, all right, well, let's dress up and go look at freaks. Like I guess that's what we did when I hung out with him. And so we dress on, he was a chef. And so we put on the goofiest. I put on his chef pants and a hat and then a helmet and whatever. And we got on this VMAX, this Yamaha, and it said "Vulgar Display of Power" on the gas tank. He had hand painted, and we drove around Minneapolis. And I remember being on the back of this motorcycle, and we would go and look at the freaks, and we'd go drive past First Ave and stuff like that. And I remember being a kid hanging on to him on this bike, and we'd drive by, and I'd look over. And I remember one time in particular, it was a line to get in First Ave. I just remember all the stars on the wall and like what it looked like, you know. And I remember seeing people in line with big mohawks and studded and all this stuff. And I remember looking at that, thinking as a young kid, like, I'm gonna have hair like that and a tattoo and like go to see rock bands one day. You know what I mean? So having that in my mind as like a local kid, just DIY, grinding from the start, the first time of many later, which extremely thankful and grateful that we got to when we headlined the Main Room. So the first time we played there, I thought back of that memory, like, dude, I had a bucket list goal as a kid to just go here and have a mohawk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now we're like playing with Head Charge and having Sid from Slipknot like with us, you know, rocking, and he's getting up there and doing his set, and just, I was like, what a trip, dude. You know what I mean?
You, but when was the moment?
Yes, so I can't recall the moment.
You did say that. You said it was a slow burn, and I did ask that. Was it a slow burn? So it was this slow grind of like almost. But again, it was in your genes, though. So it was a nature and a nurture. I just
needed to wake it up, I guess, you know? And I think...
And kind of like a slow burn in regards to like the different styles of music you were being exposed to. Because like obviously hip-hop didn't do it, right? It might have planted a seed, maybe. But if hip-hop was... If you were supposed to be a rapper, you would have known that.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And then you said, well, there was this kind of grunge thing. But then there was this kind of this punk rock thing. So yeah, I understand what you're trying to say.
And then the times that I would, you know, I'd get dropped off at my grandma's on the times that they would like ship me off, and she didn't have many toys, you know. But she had her sewing room. And so I'd be like trying to learn how to make a sweatshirt, and I'd be sewing something for the neighbor's dog, try to fit it on him. And so it was either you could play in the sewing room, you could play in Grandpa's workshop with wood and take stuff apart and build it in the workshop, or you could go upstairs and watch movies. And all she had was like musicals, Oliver, Oklahoma. You know, that's all it was. So I know people now.
Dude,
like,
your childhood is so similar to mine. It's kind of bizarre.
Dude, Sound of Music and
it's kind of bizarre.
Dude, all of it. I love it. I love that stuff.
It's just I was on the northern suburbs. You were on the southern suburbs. And how old are you?
I'm 44.
So you're 4 years older than me.
Yeah.
So you would have been a senior in high school when I was a
I was
freshman.
born in 80, and I moved to Res in 82.
It's hard for those age groups to hang out at that age as well.
Yeah,
So
when
even
you're
if we
young.
grew up next to each other, like we probably wouldn't.
You're younger. He's a kid.
Actually, you probably would have let me hung out because I was
for sure.
super fucking cool, and I always hung out with way older people, including now.
Yeah,
I still get along with older people
sure.
than I do people my age.
For sure. For sure.
Mostly because people my age are stupid, but that's a whole different conversation. We can
Yeah,
have. But
yeah.
it's kind of shocking how similar, because like even that story you mentioned where you were like, you'd sit down and watch the Pantera DVD or whatever it was while you're taking care of taking apart the Briggs and Stratton motor. Like I remember those moments in my childhood where I'm being taught about engines and then like I always thought I didn't know anything about engines and all this crazy shit, and then years later all of a sudden my dad and my brothers weren't around, and because even though they're my little brothers, they know way more about engines than me. Yeah. And all of a sudden I'm like, I know exactly what the fuck I'm doing. Like I never needed like to depend on any of these people. This knowledge has always been here, but somehow you get away from it for long enough, you forget what you know sometimes. You know, you legitimately do. So yeah, now it's like, it's so bizarre because, yeah, I know plenty about engines and everything, but you forget about these things. You forget about those, they call them core memories. Yeah. You know?
Yeah,
and it's like, when you bring those things up, it's like, yeah, dude. And I've told those stories too, but I still forget about those stories. I still forget about them.
You see something or a memory or a song or a smell will like bring that back.
Yeah, my stepdad gave me, for me, it was a wooden guitar that didn't even have strings on it. Yeah. It was, instead of, what did you say you got, Randy Rhoads? No, you got Eddie Van Halen's the Stripe. The one he gave me was the Randy Rhoads polka dot flying V. Yes. You know? Yes. And so I would pretend. I'd pretend I was playing music. Yep. And then it's like, dude, we have like the same origin story. It's kind of wild, bro.
Super cool. Yeah. And then it's like, you know, as I got a little bit older, you know, and we were doing things like going to Disney World, and I, you know, like, you don't understand the concept of like how expensive that actually is when you're a kid. You're just a kid, and you're like, I don't know, let's go to Disney World. And it could be like, well, you want to bungee jump? You want to do the Velcro wall? You want to do this, that, and the other thing? Nope. I would go straight to the You Be the Star. When you'd pick like on Skinny Bop, and even my sister would put wigs on and do the, you know, all I want to do is make the videos of the music. You know, I want to be in the, you know, I would go to Valley Fair when You Be the Star, where you could make a little tape. Remember you could record yourself at Valley Fair back in the day? The little amusement park? But it was like $30, so nobody ever did it.
We were too poor to go to Valley Fair.
And I'd always drag my friends in there. I'm like, dude, I don't want to do it. I'm like, come on, man, please just come in there. Come on. Like, one time I go in there, say 1, 2, Princess kneel before you. Doing that one. And then,
God, I didn't get to do any of that.
Oh, so badass. And then we did,
I know what you're talking about though, because I think I seen that shit.
It's a little recording booth at Valley Fair.
I think, and they like had, it's almost like karaoke.
Yeah, but they record you and they give you a tape. You get to leave with a tape
in front of a little green screen or something or whatever.
But this one didn't even have video at Valley Fair. It was just the tape, and I had that cassette forever. And then one of my best friends growing up, who was in that band, he killed himself in 2012.
Who?
My friend Jason Merrill. I call him Merle. But he was one of the kids in that Kavoo band that I was always like, man, I really, you know, I want to play like that. And I was trying to find that cassette because it was him and I did Two Princes, and he was so pissed at the time that I made him go in there and sing it. And I was like, man, I wish I could find that, because now looking back, it'd be an awesome thing to have. I couldn't find it in all my stuff, but yeah, dude, life's just been a super trip, you know, and talking about, you know, coming up and different. A memory that always really does stick out is I remember when we were young, back dirt poor. You know what I mean? We always had to go to the one part of the grocery store where it had the white boxes and said Flavor Right. And you had the little stamps that said County Market, and they would be on the thing, and you could only pick the, you know, those cereals out and stuff. And I always would walk down the aisle and see like the Tony the Tiger and the Lucky, you know, the marshmallow ones, like a cartoon, and I would just be like, oh my God, you know. And later in life, that kind of, my story gets really deep. There was like a neighborhood guy, and he would, you know, he did the whole thing. I was totally just abused in any way you could imagine, but, you know, as a kid, so that like shaped me in a different type of way, like vulnerable too.
Wait, what?
But, so I totally took a hard left, but I bring it up.
But I think you also like did about 80 miles an hour over a speed bump there.
Yeah.
And you tried to pretend none of us were gonna notice. Slow down, back up the car.
Yes.
What did you just say?
So badly did I want to, like, I don't know how I'm trying to say this, like, I would do anything to like be able to have like fruit snacks and shark bites, like those ones, you know. And
Okay.
so there was this guy that babysat the kids in the neighborhood and started to do fucked up shit. And whenever he was done doing his thing, he would be like, all right, now go in again. I get to have a big bowl of thing and make ramen and all this stuff. And I was just like every morsel of like the tasting it. And when you would, put the fruit snacks in your mouth and just hold them till they dissolve, like, oh my God, like, you know what I'm saying? And like, so back in the day, another one that sticks out, I still feel bad to this day. So if you're ever listening by chance, if you're out there, when your classes would move around, right, and you'd sit in some other kid's desk. And so I went to a different classroom and I sat down. I remember sitting there, and for whatever reason, I kind of put my hand in the desk and I seen the shark bites, the actual fruit snack. And the temptation was real, dude. And I was like, oh my God, this is not something I have access to. You know what I mean? Like that type. And I remember I tore it open. I was like, well, just one. I took one and waited a little bit, and two. And then the whole class went on like that. To the end of it, I just felt, dude, it's like 40 years ago. I still feel horrible, dude. I ate the entire fruit snack. And I never knew who this kid was to like, you know what I mean? So later,
I guarantee you that kid does not remember.
No,
his
for sure.
Shark
But
bite
it stuck with me forever. You know what I mean? It's like, man, that would have sucked, dude. If I would have came back to get my fruit snack and it was robbed. But I was like, just loved every one of them. So it was like, a lot of people will say, oh, you're only a band because this, that, and Mystic, all that. I'm like, dude, it didn't just start like that at all.
No, here's the thing, dude, is like, you guys, I remember when you came out, or not when you came out. I remember when I found out about you. And you guys fit a recipe for a band that I should hate. It was just like, like everything you did like lined up for it was like, I would be the program in the simulation, like I would be a textbook hater.
Yes,
right?
for sure.
And then I heard your music and I was like, nope, it's pretty good.
Cool.
Like,
cool.
And that was just it. Like,
cool.
Like, because I'm not an actual hater, right? Like, if I'm a hater, it's there's usually something behind it.
For sure,
and I
for
can,
sure.
And I can usually articulate it pretty well, right?
Yep.
But like the name, right? Like, so Blue Felix, I hate band names with colors in them.
Okay.
Right? So like, I'm so obnoxious and shallow about this shit, right?
Yep.
I hate bands that do like masks or like
face
gimmicks.
Paint. Yeah,
right?
100%.
So again, like we just keep going down the
Check
thing.
them
right?
all off.
Yep.
All the
But then I
boxes.
heard the music and I was like, nope, they're legit.
Yeah.
So people go, oh, well, you're only this because of this. You're only and to bring it back to what we were talking about before, is like there still has to be that level of talent.
For sure.
Like you guys wrote good songs. So were you always the main songwriter, or did you like when you formed the band, were other people helping write songs and then you became one of the main songwriters? Like what is your journey in? And even before you answer that, the other question I wanted to ask is, okay, I asked you, when did you know music was going to be your thing? And then you answered it was a slow burn, basically, right? And you told us how and why.
Yeah.
When did you know you were good at music, though? Like, when did it go past being like a complete delusional fantasy to where you were like, because every musician has that one moment. And sometimes that moment, you guys, some of you, it's still a delusion. I'm just being honest with you. Some keep going, but some of you, it's still a delusion. But there's a moment where that delusion becomes a potential reality.
Yep.
Right? And again, some of you, it's still delusion, but that doesn't mean quit. But you're not ready. But you need to keep going, because this is the question.
Yes.
Is what was the moment for you when you went, wait a minute? Because it's always almost in private, too. Like, somebody might have said something. It might have been you got off stage, right? And it was a crowd response. But the moment I'm talking about always happens in private, usually while you're in the shower or like you wake up the next morning or as you're falling asleep. It's usually one of those three moments. Ironically, it's never while you're taking a shit.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean,
the question is, like, you go, everybody has the exact same phrase that goes in their head, and it is like, I think I might actually have a legitimate shot at doing this. And basically the question is, when did you know you were good? When did that question happen for you?
So for me, I can't recall like an exact time, but we basically, I think it was when I started to notice like the energy in the crowd and the amount of people that were coming in those days, and just.
So you were already doing it.
Yes, I wasn't going to take no. I was too
fairly-
stubborn. I was like, I am this. I won't take no for an answer, and I was like doing it, and like we just started to have this like draw, and people were coming out because it was fun. It was this like thing, you know what I mean? And we just it was just this over the top thing. And when it comes down to just to touch on Blue Felix, like, people know I've said it many times before. Maybe don't, maybe they do. But so
what does that band name mean?
So
where'd that come from?
Part of, it all ties together, man. It ties together. So part of my like upbringing is as great as it was the dark times. And there was many, many dark times, many, many deep, deep dark times where I've had like actual therapists like in tears, dark times. Well, one thing that got me away from that was when I found psychedelics.
Sure.
Mushrooms, acid. Like, I mean, the first time I ate mushrooms, I was probably like 12 years old. And I remember it's way too young to be doing that. And I'd gotten it from an older cousin because when you're around like the reservation, there's older kids that are doing bad shit, And I remember I just ate them and I sat by myself. And the feeling that I had, I knew at that moment, I was like, this is my shit right here. Like, this is what I'm going to go all the way in. So back in like late 90s, there was, when this wave of acid came through, there was a rave that went on in Chicago called Even Further. And there was these little tabs and they were like Felix the Cat, right? And one was yellow and one was blue and green and red. And it was yellow Felix, red Felix, blue Felix, green. And then there was this elusive hit. And it was a tie-dyed Felix the Cat. And it was called Dancing Felix. And I'd always try to find this Dancing Felix. But I always loved the way blue Felix rolled off the tongue. And it was named after acid. And once my brain couldn't handle like the psychedelics anymore, I thought, well, I'm going to sell the Tripp of music. Like, the show is the Tripp. I'm going to portray this like acid trip.
Okay, I like the band name now.
Fantasy.
I like the band name
it's
now.
a hit of acid. It's
like
Blue
the band
Felix.
Name now. You sold me. I like.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a hit of acid that I wanted to name it after that. And then I
have this weird obsession with band names. Like,
cool. So
great band names, I love them. Bad band names, I just can't stop talking shit.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
totally,
but you sold me on this one.
So,
I like this one.
So Blue
now.
Felix is a hit of acid, and
a very specific.
Very
hit
specific.
Of acid.
Yes. And so I had an old punk rock buddy who's actually, his health is deteriorating. But he's an incredible artist, and he doesn't have much time left. I just talked to him on the phone the other day. But he was a badass visual artist. Like, he did old school, like, just awesome ideas. The dude would like catch flies and like put sewing thread around them, and then he'd tie them to your jacket. So like in a video, zoom in, he flies buzzing on your shoulder, and like weird, he'd catch moths and put them in the mouth and let the moths fly out, and just all kind of cool like visual art stuff,
Sure.
And he did some badass theatrical paint. And so, being that I like to take a lot of psychedelics, anybody that at least maybe not, maybe so, I don't know, maybe because I was sweating a lot, tripping, just grinding my teeth. But if you trip a lot, you tend to break out pretty bad with acne and zits and shit like that. And so that is one reason why I broke out very heavy. But with that, I was covering the acne with the face paint. And he's like, well, let me do this.
That's where it started.
Yeah,
Okay.
it would be like a little thing of like lightning. And then he would cover more and more. And next thing you know, we did it. Oh, one show, I got a big show. I can't be looking like this zit dude right here. And he's like, oh, I got you. He did a little thing. I'm like, cool. So I do that. Happens at the next show. I do a little other thing. Next thing you know, there's like 1, 2, 5, 10 kids showing up with face paint. We're like, oh, dude, now the people are doing this. Now we like have to do the shit. I don't want to put this on every time. This is cornball shit, but people love it. And it's like now it's like a thing, a visual thing, and I'm adding it with the clothes I'm making. And then right about that time, I started having some really bad health stuff. And so I have an autoimmune disease that basically I'm allergic to myself. That's the layman's way of saying it. So they say it's idiopathic, which they told me that we have no medical diagnosis. We don't know why it happens. But my body, basically, if I'm in my own sweaty clothes, anywhere the sweat is touching me, I'll break out in the gnarliest hives and I'll swell and my eyes will like swell shut. So I'd have these shows where my face is all puffy and shit's happening and you're about to go up and be a singer, dude. I don't want my eyes swelled shut. So paint it up like a skeleton, dude. And like that's how I would hide it. So way back in the day, there was a comic book called The Toxsick Avenger. I don't know if you ever remember the dude.
Yep,
and he'd come out of the spilled sewage, and he was all bubbly, blah, 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 And I was a mechanic for many years. Like, that's how I was. So the older mechanic dudes would be like, you look like Toxsick Avenger, because I'd still have to go to work all swelled up, just pissed. And I'd have a show that night, and the whole thing. And it was painful, dude. And so they started being like, what's up, Toxsick Avenger? You look like the Toxic Avenger, and they'd always do that until the point where all the mechanic dudes, and then to the point where even the boss would walk through, what's up, Tox? Like that was my shop nickname. Everybody had a nickname. And so one of my mentors who taught me everything I know about mechanics and
Oh,
stuff.
is this what they're talking about?
Yes.
This photo here?
Yeah, that's one. That's when that was in particular be like my split personality. So I'd have the one dude on the left, and I'd have like verses
But
where
you're not. You don't look like you're ailing from anything here.
no. It didn't happen all the time. You know what I'm saying?
So
And
this specific photo is farther down the line.
yes, yes. And once I found treatment, and I've been on this certain regimen of pills.
Gotcha.
To this day, I go to a doctor.
See if you can
probably
find any of those earlier photos, Murph.
in a lot of them, I was very good at hiding it. You know, I'd wear like the clothing to cover it, or I'd distract with a bunch of other stuff. You know, and then heavily tattoo because I wanted to like not only hide that, but I also was trying to. I'm jumping around, but another reason like that, and I've learned this about myself over the years, is so basically as I was young and I'm an outcast and my skin doesn't match my family, and I keep hitting that thing.
Dude, no matter
I would
how
get
far I
tormented,
move
right?
it away.
Yes, yeah, I'd be like, go get Yoga Flame, grab it to the other end. But I would get beat up and shit a lot when I was a kid. You know, I was really small. I didn't I didn't have armpit hair until I was like a senior. You know what I mean? So I didn't develop. You know, late bloomer. Get tormented at school for being, everything in the book from the res, and then I go home, and then I'm just, I fit in nowhere, and all I ever do, so my only escape is dosing and then doing the thing. So, but I remember as a younger kid, once the money started coming around, it attracted all walks of life, and once money comes, it would attract drugs, and with drugs come people that are into that thing, and one of those groups of people would be like the 1%ers. And I remember as like a young kid, and I'd be playing out back, we'd be playing Ghost in a Graveyard, Kick the Can, whatever, and these guys would pull up, and I remember like the silver tooth, the dude on the Harley covered in tattoos, and I remember looking at him, and I just was like in awe, you know what I mean? And in my young mind, I looked at that, and my thought was, I bet you nobody hurts those guys. They're scary. Like nobody probably messes with those dudes. If I look like that, maybe people won't like mess with me. You know what I mean? So in a way, it was like a defense. Or it's like if I can look mean and scary, people won't like do that. Because really, I'm like the most like the fruit snack kid. Like I'm not trying to like be mean. Like I'm very like empath. I don't know. And then if you say you are, you're usually not. So I don't like to say it. But I'm just like I don't know. I care about. I hate humans, but I love people. Is that what you said? An empath, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Which just means you like have a lot of empathy.
I just feel like
you sense other people's feelings.
I never want anyone to feel like they're on the outside of an inside joke. Like I always want to make sure everybody feels like they're part of the group. I don't ever want to alienate anyone because I was alienated, and I vowed that I would never do that to people, and so I would hide the way I looked with these tattoos and look scary and raw, and then the other type of abusers, all not only physical but emotional, sexual, all of it. I was just like the world's punching bag, and that's fine because it made who I was, and that is what it is, and I let that out through music, and that was my only way to just get on stage and just spill it, and people be like, damn, this dude's like fully crying, like tears just like very passionate. And people are like, dude, like, I vibe. Like, you're just so into it. Like, it's hard to hate, whether you love it or hate it. Like, dude's into it. Like, I'm digging the energy. And that, we went really far, just energy. You know what I mean?
So where did the masks and all that come from?
So the
is that like a Slipknot influence? Because you said you were buddies with those
we had
guys?
that before. So, yes. And not to, so your other question, I had a buddy who was a guitar player, and he was kind of writing some of the riffs. I wrote a bunch of riffs in the beginning. But I noticed that when I set the guitar down, I could run around and do more free shit, like free run around. But I never knew what to do with my hands. You know what I mean? Because I was so used to having a guitar, but I wasn't good at guitar. You know, I once I set the guitar down, I had to make up for the lack of my hand movement. So that's why I started climbing on shit and punching lights out and being wild on stage. I'm like, well, I can't just stand here and look dumb. Let me climb up that thing and headbutt that light fixture. And then people would scream. I'm like, yo, they like it. They like it. Like, I'll completely just be a martyr. I don't know if that's even the word. Just, completely just jump off shit. I broke my legs on stage. I busted my knee and shin in half on stage and bleeding, throwing up, puking, the whole thing. Like, so point being is, other dude would write the riffs. I've always done all the lyrics. Nobody's ever written a word for me, nothing like that. It's always been my poem, my just getting out of my reality just that's how I dealt with it, and all the shit that would happen to me and everything, and I would just put it into music, and then the face paint became of the acne and the fucking autoimmune disease and all that shit, and then my buddy Wybot is Toby, but his name backwards Wybot, and he had this weird lamp from Walmart he got for his birthday or something, and it broke, and he had just half of it, and I was like, dude, what if we cut that mouth and you look like this like robot guy, and like I'll smash a bunch of like old laptops, and I'll like hang circuit boards all over you, and I'll be like, I made my friend out of like computers, and then like you play the synthesizer, and you're like this trippy him, like that dude,
cool.
and so and then we cut his hair in 4 because of the straps. Right?
Sure.
And then when it was down, it was the goofiest haircut. We called it the quad yarmulke. We called it the quamaka. So he had this four person hair thing, or 4 whatever, the quadrants. And then I've always had, like my spikes on top. Well, I had the half dreads and stuff like that. But I made that mask out of this little lamp, and he liked the mask, and I was never like into the mask because to me, yes. And then we later got Anthony, who was younger, and he was very like Joey Jordison, inspiration, Slipknot, the mask, and all that. And I didn't want to go that way. I was like, the face paint's one thing, but like the actual like masks. You know what I mean? So I never did a mask. I always did that, but I let the dudes have their own kind of freedom, If they want to wear a mask, wear a mask,
I think there was a picture, like maybe you guys did a band photo.
If we did Halloween, I would have worn a mask. I've worn masks on Halloween
that's
shows.
The show I was referring
at
to.
Roberts. With the dreads and the red mouth?
I think,
Yeah, it was a Halloween show.
Got it.
I've never worn a mask, like, not at a Halloween.
Because I also know that you guys went through, like, different phases, and kind of, like, each guy had his own character.
Yep.
Because I remember when Jeremy was in your band.
Yes. I mean, dude.
But then he got arrested for robbing that post office.
Really?
Like, it was super weird. Yeah. Isn't that
right.
why you kicked him out?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
You robbed a post office or something like that?
It could have been.
know.
I thought it was, I heard it was something else, but I was like, I don't know if we can talk about that on here. But, he...
something about, like, Chinese foot fungus drugs? I don't know. Something weird.
He was, like, super into it, and he was, like, telling me that, he wanted to, he wore, like, potatoes, like, in his tight-fitting underwear. I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like... He said it would get more girls, right? It's tight underwear. And I was like, well, I don't know. I was like, well, maybe put the potato in the front. Maybe, the back's not working.
Which is weird because he's got huge balls already.
And
he's like, they got to be bigger.
Yes. So we were talking about like, well, dude, what's your character going to be? And he's like, I forget.
Well, whoever my character is,
he thought about it. Yes.
Balls.
He thought about it for some days. Finally he comes and he's like, all right, dude, I've got it. And like, drum roll, please. I'm like, what is it? I'm like, wait, and he's like, oh God, what even? Oh my God, what? It was oh my God, it was like love, sin, something. It was so like passionate and like cornball. I was like, no. I forget what it was. I can't even remember what it was.
I know exactly.
It was just like
Jeremy you're describing.
Night Jeremy.
Yeah.
And it was something like that. I don't even remember. I want to say Jason, but that's actually what he went with. So it was the one before that. I just remember laughing so hard as it was like
he wanted to be sexy.
It was something like that for sure, and he was.
He wanted to be
so
sexy.
so
Jeremy
he
is
could be.
sexy.
He is. Oh yeah. No, and he's totally sexy. Yeah, and then he stayed with me. I actually have a paper plate with a letter from him still. When he lived in my jam room for a while, when he was in between places and life was getting on him. But we had a lot of fun in the short time he was with the band. He was a wild dude. He was a lot of fun. It was the first time that I'd had somebody in the group that was trying to like be as physically outgoing. Like I would do something, he would do one up it. Like he would jump and headbutt a table in half. I'm like, okay. And it was escalating to the point where it's like, no, dude, like we're, this is gonna end up bad. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he came, and what I had liked about is his background, relevance and stuff. He had come from like face paint, and he was already, he wasn't a stranger to dressing up goofy, or goofy. Yeah, I just have fun, dude. I've been wearing goofy shit on the back of a bike since a kid, looking at freaks. I'm like, that's just what I do, So, but God, I wish I could remember what it was. He would know. The
name of the character.
Yeah, it was.
So
like,
Jeremy, if you're in chat, throw in chat.
What was the first name you came up with?
Character. What is the name of the shitty character?
Oh man, I don't know why I'm spacing it, dude. It was so funny. It was like our drummer. What was it?
He doesn't know yet. All
Oh,
don't-
think
don't-
about it.
Don't get rid of that until he actually answers
Yeah,
that
so it
question.
was like, oh my, I cannot remember what it was, but and like their drummer. So he was trying to come up with his stage name. Mine was Toxsick because the dudes made fun of me and I was swelled up and it was what it was, and which I should have went Walks No Path. I never even thought about that, but that's dope in itself. But so same thing. The drummer, he's like, all right, I got it, guys, and we're like, what is
So
it?
you stuck with the Toxsick thing.
Yes, I've just had that forever, and I kind of morphed it to talk sick, like
Right.
talking sick, blah blah blah. And the drummer, same thing. And that was good. That was so I call him Grim Nightmare. He ended up going with Grim. His name was Gideon, but GID, gender identity disorder. He Gideon, but we went with Grim Nightmare, and he had nightmare down his arm. And we'd always be like, dude, when you get big or whatever, you're gonna have a clothing line of sleepwear. You're gonna be Grim Nightwear, and we'd like have all this silly ass shit. And then people would be they'd be like, you guys are Slipknot, whatever. And so Gid, we'd be like, yeah, that's Gid Tiltson. And we had a kid whose name was like Rory, or like Rory Baylor. Like it was all like the Slipknot names, but we'd like change one letter. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm
Sure. Yeah.
I'm Rick Thompson. It's like just some just so dumb, dude. Just a clownery. Like over the years was hilarious, dude.
There was something, I think this idea came out of nu metal, where it was like, dude, Greg Moog from Black Flood Diesel posted a picture of like one of the original versions of Black Flood Diesel, and they had their names in the newspaper.
Yeah.
And to see their goofy nicknames written out, I just laughed and made fun of Greg, like in his own post. I was like, you fucking nerds, you fucking losers, dude. And this is my homie who is way more than successful than me at the time. But still, looking back, it's real easy to judge. And it was like, this is such a nu metal thing where like it wasn't cool enough. You like literally had to come up with a nickname. And then by the time you guys were doing it, it was for a completely different motive. It was either for pure entertainment. A lot of guys did it for legitimate anonymity because they were scared of losing their jobs.
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of guys were trying to be in some fucking wild bands and like they could legitimately be, because Facebook started to become a thing. So like it was interesting, the motivation and the evolution as to why people would come up with these names for a quote unquote character in a band. But the most reasonable one I ever heard of was, like I said, guys, Facebook and all that shit started to come out. Guys were worried about losing their job because in nu metal, it was like a weird, like it wasn't cool enough to be Jake Crooks. You had to be a, and I was just like, I don't want to do that because like, what if I grow out of that? You know?
Yeah.
I was like, what if I grow out of wanting to be what was it? Toxic? Toxic, right?
Toxic, yeah.
And you're like, what if I don't want to be toxic anymore? Like what if I want to be fucking talk shit?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, that was a terrible example.
Yeah.
But you get my point.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, you
just seems
emailed
like
me. I'm still Toxic Tripp, and it's like when I got to put that on my kid's school, I'm like, yeah, I know. This is the only email I know how to use.
It's the most reliable one where I still have everything like locked down.
And I have to tell, like, as somebody that's like not, like some normal daytime real life shit, and I got to give them that email. I'm like, what?
Maybe over the phone.
Yeah.
But trust me, bro, when they see you and you go, my
then
email's Toxic Trip, they're like,
okay.
They're not questioning it. They're like, checks out.
Yeah, for sure. Yes. Oh, yes. It was, lot of fun with that. I mean, it was fun, man. Like, we had a lot of fun. We always had a lot of fun, but it is a hard thing to do, to try to be a touring musician, you know what I mean? Because that will take a toll on you.
Right.
Like, I always tell people, I've done everything there is in music to do. I've done it all except one thing, and that's make money. That's the only thing I've never done. Up until then, I mean, I've done everything that I've ever wanted to do. You know what I mean?
That's a great segue into a question that I always pose. And you've kind of answered a couple different motivations, which I think is the most honest, right? And I fucking hate, and oh my God, this guy. He's going to be very annoying over the next 4 years. But I have to admit, even if I don't like him, even if I'm not a fan, if you're right, you're right, and I got to give you credit when you got it, right? Kid Rock said one of the most wise things I've ever heard in my entire life in regards to joining the music industry as a job.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
If you're going to leave your basement and you're going to try to be in a rock band or any type of performing arts like this in music, when you try to be a rock star, you do it for one of three motivations. You either do it for pussy, fame, or money. Right? Now, you mentioned earlier, which is why I started chasing puss, bro. Trying to get some. Yeah, dude. Like, before I was even able to have sex, I was like, I bet I can have sex if I learn how to play guitar. Like, I don't know why, but I somehow knew that was the key to the badge, dude. Like, I was a horny little pervert, dude. And I was like, I bet if I play guitar, I'll get laid. And it worked. It worked a lot. The whole time, basically. It's never stopped working. It's worked so well, I've joked that if I didn't know how to play guitar, I'm convinced no girl would have ever let me anywhere near her vagina, dude. It was the only thing that ever worked. Dude, still to this day. But even if that's not true, I do agree, though. The reason I actually pursued it as a career, though, is because I was like, I love it so much that if I can make money doing this, like, I would rather do this because I realized real quick I hate working. Like, I hate fucking working. So it's like, if I can somehow make money and make this my job, that's what I want to do. So my motivation, I'm very honest about this, was money. And somehow, some way, that gets such a gross rap for it. Because it's like, it should be for the art. And it's like, that's why I fucking do it. I do the art because I love the art. I pursued it as a career because it was the thing I love doing. If I could make money, I'd rather do that than anything else. That's such a normal, honest thing to say. So if you have to boil it down to a combo or one of those things, like, why did you decide to pursue it as a job? And you still kind of do to some degree. Like, you never gave up.
No, I'm still,
you do a lot of things. You make clothes. You do all kinds of shit. But you still have music as part of your identifiable career. Like, you are a musician.
And I appreciate that. I would say all of those things would be awesome to have, you know? I got all except the fame, I'm pretty sure. Not the money so much, but not no money. I mean, I make more money my solo acoustic stuff and then my cover band. And that actually pays bills.
And it's not a got you moment. I'm not trying to make anybody look bad, but if you had to put yourself in one of those three boxes, is it, you just said it's not fame. So is it chicks? Is it chicks,
I would
or
say
is it money?
In the beginning, it definitely isn't the money. Because remember, like, I had that.
It was
the
chicks.
I didn't need the money. I didn't care about that. I spent everything I had to go do that.
But you did have a job, though.
Yes,
right? You
I was
were
a
already
mechanic still. Yes.
So,
yes.
but that's my point, though.
For sure.
Like, why were you a mechanic? Were you a mechanic because you loved vehicles or because you needed money?
Yeah, because child support's real. You know, and it's like,
so if you could trade being a mechanic for money to being a musician for money,
I would say,
you see what I'm saying?
If I had to pick one, I guess I would say fame, because
really that surprises me.
Because with the fame will come that other. But then I had always thought, well, if you get big enough, no matter how shitty life gets, you can just sign your underwear and sell it, and then you got money and you can pay bills. You know, like you could always do signings and I don't know. I guess if you have like a platform where people look up to you, you can hopefully use it for good. You know, I've always tried to be like a pillar, even in the community I'm from, like point the kids in the right direction. I never tell them to do bad shit. You know, it's like, yeah, experiment with drugs, have fun. Now you can't do that because you can't even do drugs because they'll kill you. But think for yourself, be good to each other, live your life. You know, live your life. It's the only one you're going to get. Have fun. Just don't.
That's legit.
You know, don't take shit that's not yours.
So maybe
don't
at the
fuck with little kids
it was
and old
fame.
people, and other than that, yeah.
But I think.
But probably the fame, because the rest.
At least at the beginning, right?
At the beginning, it was like, dude, we're gonna be, because I think I was picked on and beat up so much
that you wanted to be
that I thought, well, and nobody would ever want me around them because I'm this, I'm too hyper, I'm too this, I'm that, I'm whatever. But all of a sudden I'm the singer and we're doing this band stuff and shit's happening. And now these kids that used to torment me are like, hey, man, and they come up to me at shows and be like, dude, we grew up together. Like, man, all the good time we had. I'm like, good times? What, fucking, yeah, right.
Yeah, I think you're right, though. I think a lot of us, including me at the beginning,
I just want to be accepted, really.
It was like I wanted chicks and I wanted to be popular. I wanted to be cool. I wanted to be liked. I wanted to be respected.
Yep.
You know, and then later in life, it became like I am liked and respected, and I get chicks,
Yeah.
I want to be able to pay my bills so
Yeah,
I can keep
for sure.
doing this without having to go to work in some shitty office.
For
And
sure.
I never really ever got rid of a job. Like
Yeah.
I luckily never committed to a career,
Mhm.
right? So like I never had to have a job,
Yeah,
but I always had to have a job, if
for
that
sure.
makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
But like I never had to keep a job. If somebody was like,
yeah.
"You got," I'd be like, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah.
Like, because there was a period of time where I was doing well enough to where it was like, this is just to fill the gaps. Like, I'm here to fill the gaps.
Yep.
And in some ways, I'm still kind of like that. Like, I was able to put myself in a position in life to still kind of like, honestly, if my boss fired me tomorrow, I'd be like, all right.
Yeah.
Like,
Fuck it. Yeah.
luckily, it's not like, oh my God, how am I going to survive?
For sure.
Like,
For sure.
I'll be fine. Part of that is from having so many shitty part-time jobs, learning so many random life skills.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm fucking perfect.
Well-versed,
and then
yeah.
learning how to work on engines and all that
sure.
shit. Like, zombie apocalypse happens,
Yeah.
like, you're probably going to be just fine, wouldn't you?
Oh, I'll be. Yeah,
You'll
I'm not.
you'll
I
probably
build
be
rat
just
rods.
fine.
I don't know how much you looked into me, but I build full cars. I build trike chopper Harleys. I went down to MMI and back in the. I went. You know,
We got
I'm
a spider coming down. How's this for prophecy, huh?
Yes.
Look
there
at
he
this.
is.
We got a little spider come down. I'm gonna leave it up to you, Jake. What do you want to do with that?
Oh,
I usually just kill him.
Yeah. I mean, I'm down. Whatever. We'll let him go though. He's all right. Catch some flies.
This rarely happens in this room. This used to happen a lot in the other room because the other room has open rafters. He's like, "Oh shit, there's people." He made it all the way down here, and he's like, "Oh shit, people."
Yeah, he's not. Damn, you're not Miss Muppet.
It used to happen a lot in the other room, and they'd come down on my guest's head.
Oh no.
Yeah, or my head.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "You got a spider coming
Yeah.
down."
Oh no.
It almost never happens in this room.
Oh, he's coming to hang out. Yeah.
Nope, now he's gone.
So
He's like,
I would
"All right, fuck it."
definitely to think back. You know, if the fame part falls into, you know, I want to just get back at everybody that didn't want anything to do with me.
Oh,
you
that's
know?
what I was gonna say.
And to
So
be like, you know,
what's interesting though, and I think I know what your answer is going to be. Okay, you start off for X, you know, then it evolved into Y,
Yeah.
then it maybe even became Z.
yeah,
But I bet I can answer this for you and tell me if you agree. People go, okay, cool. You started music because you love it. Then it became you wanted to get laid. Then it was you wanted to get paid, right? Why do you keep doing it? And I bet it's because I still fucking love the
yeah.
music.
It's-
Like, that's why
yeah.
I won't give it up.
Yeah.
That's why we're 40, 45 years old, respectively, and neither one of us are technically rich or famous from directly our music, right? Like,
Yep.
I know guys that are very wealthy musicians, but they actually didn't make any money from their actual music.
Yeah.
You know, they got a couple good paychecks, a
Yep,
couple good
yep,
bonus checks,
yep.
invested it properly.
Yep.
And anyways, long story short, the reason we keep going
Yep.
is because we love the music. That's the other big difference that I think people get lost when we talk about those motivations. It's like, yeah, like there's a reason you start.
Yep.
There's a reason you keep going.
It
and
ultimately-
there's a different reason you're still going.
Yeah.
So-
Had I not had music through those years and what I had built
oh my
up
god!
inside.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I guarantee you this was it. Jay Valentine.
Yes. 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 It was like it goes. It's gonna be. No.
Jamie Valentine.
No. I got it.
It was Jamie Valentine.
No. Before that, he's like, I got the name. Dude, tell me you're listening, Jeremy. Listen, he goes.
Jeremy's
I said,
listening.
what is
okay,
it? He goes.
I want you to finish
Here
this.
it is.
I'm gonna be right behind you. I gotta piss.
All right.
I can hear you. Just
Here it
tell
goes.
this story while I go piss.
I got my name. What is it? Sinful Valentine. Sinful, dude. Sinful Valentine. Oh my God, it was sinful. And then you stuck with Jay Valentine, but it was sinful, dude. He said it's so serious. Like, we locked eyes, dude. I thought we were like the Lady and the Tramp. Oh, it's comedy, dude. Yes, it's Sinful Valentine. But then N.I., the drummer, he did the same kind of thing. We're like, all right, what's yours going to be? It's like drum roll. Grrr, we're all waiting for some profound name. And he's like, get this. The Delivery. What? What? Who even thinks of that? The Delivery? That's the worst stage name I ever heard, besides Sinful Valentine. Sinful Valentine is okay. It still sounds like, you know, bullet from a Valentine member or something. I don't know. At least that's like erotic. Deliveries like that one just, I don't know. That was a weird one. Then we just settled on and usually that's how the names just ended up, but yeah, we had a lot of fun, man. God, we had a lot of fun. I still got the paper plate that you wrote on. You wrote me a note. Yes. We did land on Jason, but Sinful Valentine.
Sinful Valentine. I'm 100% certain Jeremy was drunk and not serious when he came up with Sinful Valentine. He was definitely fucking around.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, dude, but the I'm all right. Oh, I take the Coke. Yeah. It's my only release of like how my life had gone and how my young life had been. It was the only way for me to kind of put out what I had built up inside instead of it imploding. That was basically, as corny as it would sound, it was like my only therapy. You know what I mean? Because I just felt a type of way. And my mom had always said, I don't know if it's good advice or bad advice, but I'd always tell her these things I was having going on in my head, but I never told her about like some of the fucked up shit, because even as a young kid, even if somebody was hurting me, I still had it in me like, I don't want my mom to be sad that she like didn't protect me.
Do you ever
So
play
I didn't want to
sports,
like say
by the
that.
way?
No.
I wanted to ask you this.
I was always like man versus self, like a snowboard, skateboard, shit like that. I never followed the rules.
Sports.
I'm not going to go.
You never played organized sports. Gotcha. But
going back to like
snowboarding and skateboarding.
Yeah,
is a sport,
it goes back to like walk no path. Like, you got to play. You want me to be somewhere and throw a ball? What if I'm not there and it goes past and now everybody's pissed at me because I wasn't in the right spot? I don't know. I can't remember all that. Just I don't want to do that.
That's super interesting.
I don't want to do that.
Super
It's
because I've found a lot of musicians, especially the ones I know, have played sports, and I think the team mentality of being in sports helps guys learn how to be band members.
Yeah.
So it's super interesting when I meet musicians that are like the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So where do you think learning how to be a team member or a band member, where do you think that kind of came from? Where did that understanding come from?
I guess I would just have to say my family, a huge family. Like with all my cousins.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I
too. That'll do the exact fucking same thing.
I was kind of the one that was like, if somebody's getting teased, picked on, I was severely like teased and picked on, but I also was extremely good. One defense mechanism you get through that is you learn how to like diffuse and use words to not, because I didn't fight. I was like a little kid. I didn't break 100 pounds, so I was like a junior. You know what I mean? Like So I always had to figure out a way to not get tormented, so. And what I felt like was, and going back to all the different type of abusers and whether it was what kind of abuse it was, what I always found was if I was making them laugh or I was giving them something, they weren't hurting me. So a defense mechanism is like, as long as I keep them laughing, they're not fucking with me. Oh, here, you like this? You want it? I'll take it off. It's yours. Like, it's just say here. Oh, and then, oh, thanks, man. It changed the subject enough, it's just how your self-defense mechanisms that you acquire through your surroundings, your environment, like that situation, and it kind of, it's weird to look back and life happens so quick, dude. It's just such a trip. Like, it's a trip. It's literally life is a trip. That's where the toxic trip comes from. It's like, I'm a toxin to myself. I'm basically allergic to my own sweat. And so I react. And life is just a trip. And Blue Felix is the LSD. So the trip, the physical trip. And I'm like, life is like a trip. When you're born, that's like the dose. Then you come up, adolescence, that's like you're coming up. Then you peak in your peak of life. You ride the peak out, and like all good trips, they do wind down and they fizzle out and then it's over. And life is the trip. Like, this is just one weird acid trip that we are. And it's like a weird movie from the beginning to the end. And it was just a huge concept, and I was like learning that while experimenting with heavy dose. As a psychonaut, before I knew what a psychonaut was, an astronaut in my brain, like, I'm going to go to the furthest depths of space in here. I'm going to spend an entire weekend not talking to anybody, all alone in my room, and I'm going to just see how far I can push this. You know,
So, have you ever done like shadow work and shit?
as far as like,
You ever listen to or read the lyrics of 46 and 2 by Tool?
no, I know the song, but no, I don't
You ever
know the
read the
meaning, I
lyrics
guess.
of
No.
it? Bro.
No.
Okay. I'm gonna fuck this up,
Yeah.
but bear with me, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, because this is kind of how I trip. So I trip like once a year, and I'll do like 7 grams of mushrooms, and I'm trying to like basically talk to God. That's my joke line.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
joke line,
Yeah.
right? But really, what I'm really doing is exploring different versions of reality. Yeah, that's fine. You can leave this up. Yeah, don't switch it to the screen though. But I'll reference this a couple times. But essentially, what this is really getting to is some Carl Jung shit, which is talking about like layers of the self. Okay, and you have to like go past. Okay, so we have like our conscious self, which we all talk about like in regular psychology, like the fucking id and the blah blah blah, right? That's all cute and everything. But then there's the shadow self, which is basically the dark, primal, evil version of every human being that exists. And you will almost never see that person in a civilized society, right? It's in a survival situation. It's in a war. It's in a protect your kids. You know, like a weird, wild scenario where you would like do some crazy shit.
For
like,
sure.
what is the most evil? Basically, like the shadow self is like, what is the most evil thing you're actually capable of?
Yeah.
Right? And first of all, most people are simply not capable of asking that question, right? And then exploring the shadow and doing the shadow work is like not only asking that question, but then like really thinking on it. And then the next level is like controlling that and being like, okay, we're going to put that and make sure that that version of me never exists through civility and ethics and morals and principles. And then you can get another layer beyond that, which is kind of getting into like the actual self, the true subconscious self that we almost never even realize exists. It's kind of like, it's almost like that scene in Men in Black where there's like a tiny little alien driving the body. Right? It's kind of like that. Like, and you just never know. You're just a shell, a machine. Even your subconscious self, even your instincts to breathe, that all of that is still just layers until you get to the real thing. And then it also 46 and 2 comes in to starts talking about like chromosomes and shit. So it talks about like I'm probably going to fuck this up, but it's like, I think it's 42 and 2 is like the original, I think it's the original like primal pygmy man, and they think there might even be 1 or 2 of these tribes left still on Earth, and they're very much like a herd or a pack animal, you know. And technically they're human, technically they're us, but they're like a chromosome or 2 different or short, and basically they're like very harmonious, and they can't really even think past the self, right? But it limits their ability to be creative and destructive. They're animals still, right? And then there's what we are, which I think is 44 and 2. Even if I'm not right on these literal numbers, I'm getting to 46 and 2 is my point. I might be fucking up all of this, but the concept is still sound. Then there's where we're at, right? Where we're conscious of ourselves, which makes us way less conscious and aware of the pack, of the herd, right? So it makes us very individual, but it makes us creative, it makes us constructive, it also makes us destructive. The theory is the next stage of evolution is 46 and 2, which is a kind of like we have all the strengths of us now, but we all of a sudden go back to being like true pack animals, where we have a harmonious we have a sense of self and the ability that we're able to like, hey, wait a minute, we should do things like this, but then we don't throw that away for some petty human bullshit. The pack also acknowledges that is better for all of us, and we just immediately adopt it. It's very, very deep. It's super fucked up. But, man, I'm telling you, dude, like, I'll never listen to Tool the same. Once I learned that about that song, because literally it's about, like, a bunch of shit. This one song, 46 and 2, and it's kind of talking about that. It's like, let's take a bunch of fucking drugs, a bunch of fucking hallucinogens. Let's be a psychonaut, and let's go as far in here as we can go. That's what this song is talking about. And there's a really great lyric video if you guys really are interested in this for the listeners and shit, including you, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a lyric video that brings up all these lyricals and syncopates it with all of the Carl Jung stuff that I'm talking about, and it really kind of shows you like everything that this whole thing. It's kind of mind blowing, dude.
Yeah.
And it's kind of what you're talking about. And again, I don't think a lot of people even think about this, and especially when it comes to lyrics and like band names, you know, and like your character's name, you know, because you're not toxic. That's just a character you play.
Yeah,
right?
and that's
a version of you.
It is, and I would.
It's a part of you, but that's not you.
No,
you know what I mean.
And that's
you know what I'm saying.
Yes, and that's why, like, you know, what's wild is then, you know,
It's pretty impressive, I guess, is what I'm really getting at. Is like the thought that goes into it. You know,
it's hard. It's hard to word how, you know. I'm treading lightly on how I'd word it, but basically there was a point in my life when it had all succumbed to like my heaviest drinking, and I was always into like psychedelic drugs and stuff like that. I never drank ever, and then
not even like beer and shit.
No, I still don't drink beer ever. I mean, I do like a shot of Yag once in a blue moon, but it's so few and far between. But there was many years, probably 10 to 12 straight, where we're drinking a half a gallon of Yag a night between the band, every night at shows. I mean, crazy. And it got just so bad, and I'm just washing down all kinds of, you know, just out of control, absolutely out of control. And then I kind of imploded. Like, I imploded, and like the first round of band members all left, and like people that I had, like childhood friends, all like went away from me, and they're like, this dude's just a downward spiral. And it just kind of was like, you know, I don't know. Some of it came from, I had always driven this thing. I built this machine, and I'm driving this machine, and then it got to the point where we start gaining this momentum, and like the dude you saw, the Grim Nightwear, one in particular, he was very much one day was very just type, you know, and they were like, you don't run this. We all make decisions. Nobody's in charge. Nobody's in charge. Like, it, you know, it was kind of one of them things. And I was like, really? You don't think, like, what happens? Unfortunately, any good business has like a boss. Right. And he's not a dick, but it's like, what do you do when the boss ain't there? Nobody does shit. Right. And you're saying that I don't do shit and whatever, and we should all be equal? Fine. How about I just do what you do? And then I was like, you know what? Cool. And I just started to drink like you do. And I just kind of, two wrongs don't make a right. I kind of not stopped giving a shit. And I was like, fine, I'm just going to fucking party. And that's when our upward momentum fucking started to do that, you know. Okay. Because I didn't give a fuck then. I'm like, cool. I was like, why would I want to put in all this time and effort and every last dollar I have to be called a fucking rich kid? It's like, dude, if I was a fucking rich kid, you think I would spend all this money to drive around in a shoebox on wheels to smell your feet? No, I'd be on a fucking island with a bunch of girls doing rich kid shit. But instead, I'm driving around fucking living in a truck stop bathroom trying to give us all something to kick back for the rest of our life at, and I'm just getting the slack for it. So fuck it. I won't even give a shit then. And I just kind of let loose. I was getting blackout drunk every show, and then it got to the point where I was losing. In my mind, I was like, I started to build this machine. I get there, I'm driving this machine, and we're driving, we're climbing. Like, I work through the networks. I met the guys that introduced me to Sid, who helped us do this. And, you know, different doors open when, you know, the guy who's managing your band's in a band like that. People answer his phone, you know? It's different. It's way fucking different, you know? And so I was like, fuck it then, dude. I won't do shit. You don't do shit. Well, I'm going to act like you then. And, that's when I was like, you know, I've become toxic. I have become, you got it what you wished for. You've become what you are.
Right.
And, you know, I
basically became, and it was born from, here's something that's, again, most people don't think of. It sounds like, and I'm going to take you at face value. I'm going to take you for your word because you seem like a very genuine, honest dude when you're telling me your stories here. and again, I can relate to this. It sounds like it was born from somebody else being bitter and insecure.
For sure.
And questioning your leadership and judgment.
Sure.
And maybe you weren't strong enough and ready enough to figure out a way to get them back into, hey, we all have a role to play.
For sure.
This is the role you have to play. And maybe you're not comfortable with it right now. It's really easy for us to Monday morning quarterback this shit 20 years fucking later, right? It's really easy for us to have this conversation now. But it sounds like you didn't have that exact skill in that exact moment, and you responded in a pretty immature way.
For sure.
And you went, okay, fuck it. I'm going to prove my point that I lead by letting this thing fall apart.
Yeah.
I can seriously, legitimately relate to that verbatim.
It's like, why would I want to put all this effort in to blow up the band and you get rewarded for fucking acting like that? Fuck, I'd rather see this thing crash than give a motherfucker that doesn't deserve shit fucking a spotlight then. Because you're just kicked back riding along, not doing shit.
I know exactly what you're talking about, dude.
So I was just like, and then, probably immature, but I was just fed up. I was like, I put all this.
Because somebody does run the band.
You have to.
There's at least one, sometimes two, if they're like a team, if you guys started it together. Like, hey, man, let's start a band together. Like, okay, those two run the band. Those two founded the band.
Yep.
And there needs to be, I have always said that one of the keys to making a band successful is everybody knowing and accepting the roles that they play within that band. Whether those things happen organically, like everybody kind of naturally falls into their deal. Like, this guy's a legitimate professional graphic designer. Let him make all that stuff, right? This guy over here works in advertising. Yeah, maybe he should fucking handle the promo. You know what I mean? Those two work together. Now we have a marketing team. Brilliant.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, that's natural, organic, right? If nobody has any fucking experience, you just kind of like try to randomly assign it based on like your personalities. You're 17 years old and you're like, I think you'd be good at PR. You don't know anybody, but boom, that's your fucking job. Now make sure that the other guy knows his job isn't PR. Let the PR guy be the PR guy. And whether they're assigned or whether they naturally evolve, and that includes who's in fucking charge, dude. Yep. And I'm not going to name names, but there's guys I've been in bands with where I've been like, dude, it's your fucking band. And they're like, no, it's not. Like, everybody's replaceable. And I'm like, except for fucking you, bro. Like, if you're not in this band, the band doesn't exist, dude.
That's what I've been told.
What are you talking about, dude? But they're trying to be humble and like, oh. And I'm like, I'm telling you, this is part of the problem.
Yeah.
It's like, because like, you're not willing to admit you're in charge and you're the leader. Then nobody else is going to admit you're in charge and you're the leader. And this just isn't good for the hierarchy of how everything works. Like,
I'm guilty of it.
And I'm not trying to beat you up about it, but
no, it's facts,
it takes somebody a level of maturity to be able to look back and admit those kind of things, because it also sounds like you've moved past that, grown up,
for sure,
and you're no longer that same man in every respect, whether it's the drinking, whether it's the leadership, whether it's all of these things. So without skipping past all the cool shit and all the crazy stories, because I'd love to have you back on.
They're fun.
But like tell me how Blue Felix evolved from, basically, because we've kind of like talked about the building of it. And okay, here's how it kind of went wrong, because like our momentum started to go down. Tell me what you've been up to lately, and how that transitioned from Blue Felix into all the other cool shit you've done, including building bikes, making clothes, all the other random cool shit you have in your life, because there's so much. And again, that's why I said I hope we can have you on again. Because there's so much to get to. Even when you do a full 3-hour podcast, there's never enough time to get to it all. So I at least want to kind of hit some of these main points and then come back and delve in deeper again. But like, so how do you get from Blue Felix to all the other cool shit for you? And what else are you doing? I mean, making clothes, you build rat rods, you're fucking doing other music projects.
Started a tree business, like a full tree service, because I'm also a woodworker,
I need lumber. Let's go
Yes.
chop down people's trees.
Oh, I got
They'll
yeah,
pay us.
yeah, I got tons. I guess I don't know.
Are you sure you're not Jewish? Because that's exactly how we build our businesses.
Really?
Yeah. We're like we want to make drumsticks. We need lumber.
Yeah.
Hold on, brother. Go start a tree business.
Yeah.
We have all the hickory in the world.
Yeah. So
Infinite supply of hickory.
yes. So I feel like my outfits.
That's also literal. That's not even an exaggeration. That is how.
That's how it goes down. Yeah.
That is how us, the Jews, are so fucking clever and make so much money. You guys can do it too. Literally.
Yeah.
Literally, you guys can do it too. It's not exactly a secret anymore.
Yeah,
we've been doing it for centuries.
Coming like with just like my aesthetic, and I didn't by any means start like some punk rock fucking crust punk looking clothes or anything. I just kind of added my own kind of style to it, and the things that I make, I basically was trying to explain it to my kid's mom way back in the day and trying to have her make the stuff, and then my grandma, and because I sew a little bit, but I'd be like, grandma, and then obviously she can't be there every day making the shit, so I forced myself to start doing it alone, and then that kind of evolved to the point where I'm making custom hoodies, jackets, everything at the merch, but it's all one of one, and we're selling this stuff, so it's like, well, we can't really make a bunch of money at the music, but the merch game's killing. I was like, I want a full bazaar. I want to have like fruit stands with Blue Felix on them and shopping carts going through like Blue Felix, the hot sauce, all like everything, our merch to be killing it. So I started sewing a lot and working on my own style worth of stuff. So that kind of sent me down the fashion world, which I did 10 pieces in New York Fashion Week. I got to walk the runway and stuff to people out there that were loving my stuff, to see like real fashionista people like in New York, no idea who I am and where I came from, just anonymously. Like I went there, I put all my shit on a table in a room full of a bunch of people's stuff, and watching people kind of like oohing and eyeing over like all my stuff, and then I kind of walk over by them, and I feel like these types, look at me like, what are you doing? Like, what am I? Like, I'm. What are you gonna rob us? Clutch your purses, ladies. And then someone like, hey, yeah. So when you were making this, did you? I'd be like, oh yeah, well I did this, and then I see them go, wait, you? This is you? Oh my God, Instagram. And all of a sudden they went from scum to fucking. Well, what are you doing later? Immediately, it was so crazy, and then I'm like, oh well, hold on a second. I go hey, that's that guy we. Walking the runway. Like, what? So that's been really cool. And then, of course, for my grandma, who had gotten me still alive in her high 80s, to help me sew and all these things, to then follow me on Facebook, to be like, of all the grandkids, the boy is the one that was sewing. I never thought that you would have. Sure. And then to watch me go to Fashion Week and, from her sewing machine back in the day, so sure. That was kind of cool for her to see that. And like making it's wearable art. It's like my art is my clothing. It's like, I don't just take the costume off. People are like, oh, nice costume, whatever. I was like, no, I wear this every day. Like, this is how I look, unless I'm going to some core or something where I have to, like, dress down a little bit. But, so I make my whole aesthetic. I make the cars, the music and the car that I'm making and the clothes I'm wearing. Like, I just created my own like world. You know what I mean? We've done a few reality TV show pilots. I was writing. I had 2 pages in the Rat Rod magazine. One of my best friends is the creator, founder, originator of Rat Rod magazine, and I met him through. I was at a gas station probably 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and one of the Frankensteiner kids pulled up. I didn't know what that was until I had only seen Mad Max and shit like that. And his car pulled up, and it was the first time I ever seen like a Mad Max proper Rat Rod. I was like, oh my God, dude. Like, that is the fucking coolest thing I've ever seen. And so he drove away, and I got online, and I'm like, I'm going to buy a car like that. And I looked at it, and they're like fucking 20 grand. I was like, for that? I'm a mechanic, and dude, I'm a certified welder. I've been a welder.
Times I've thought that in my life.
And I went and built them, and then I built them, and I drove it around to the point where I gained the attention of Rat Rod magazine, and then they were like, all right, you want to sit at our table? We're going to do a challenge. 30 days, $3,000. If you build it, we'll put you on the cover. And so I made it on the 50th issue. I built the car with a little help from my drummer did the headlights. There's a couple things, but 88% of that whole car in 30 days was me, morning to night, all the way. Built the car for under $3,000, and it made it on the cover of the 30. You could look up the 50th issue of Rat Rod magazine. That's the car I built. It's me in the magazine.
What is it?
So Rat Rod magazine, the 50th issue, 50.
Issue 50.
Issue
Rat
50,
Rod
yes.
magazine.
And so that was my first.
You're on the cover.
I built the car on the cover in 30 days. And it was my
Are
first.
you
like,
on the car naked?
yes,
Or in
the
bikini?
inside. Yeah, me and Jeremy Blake, sinful Valentine. we got fucking Bush Light cans dragging behind saying "just married."
Are you eating a hamburger?
Yes,
On the cover.
I'm eating a hamburger.
Of the vehicle.
Yeah.
On the cover of the.
There
magazine.
it is. I built that one right there.
But I don't see you naked. I'm
No,
disappointed.
that's on the inside. We didn't want to scare people away on the cover. But yeah, no, me and Jeremy Blake eat a hamburger like Lady in the Tramp style, but we're like butt chugging it. So we're like kind of like, no. So I built, I don't know if it shows the inside the pages or shit, whatever, but maybe not. Anyway, it was my first official. Like, damn, I built a car. Cool. All right, next. It was
That's
like,
pretty impressive. Dude.
and then I lost interest. kind of to
How
a degree.
long did it take you to build that?
30 days.
That's it.
Less than a month. Less than $3,000 in donations of motor and built the whole thing. Like,
So what did you do? You went around and told everybody in town, "I'm building a rat rod. Do you have any parts you can?"
yeah, and I got a
donate?"
cab, and then I had a motor donated, and then the rest of it was just metal and busted a pallet, like a pallet racks in a warehouse that got hit by a forklift and it fell down. I'm like, well, look at all that metal. Cut it all up, shaped the frame out of it, tires off the old. I'm talking junk, actual junk. Because with that. I've gone a few different schoolings. So it's like once I got out of high school, I went down to, first thing I did was I went to Hennepin Tech, certified cabinet maker, like 18th century furniture, did a lot of handmade like wood items, So I got the cabinetry background. And then after that, I went down to Orlando. I went to MMI, so I'm a certified Harley Davidson Master Tech. I came back and then worked as a fleet mechanic for 10 years at Mystic, taking care of all like the fleet vehicles. And then in 2015, I wanted to learn because while I'm a fleet mechanic, I'm fixing the welding shit. But I want to know why I'm welding and why
For
does the
people
metal.
that don't know what he's talking about, he works on a large amount of
Yes,
vehicles,
like
vans
350
and
vehicles
fucking-
I'm
and it's
responsible
big
for.
vehicles
Yes.
as well, like the
Weed whips to
buses.
payloaders to excavators and every Bobcat, everything in between.
Yeah, the buses,
Yes,
the diesel
yep,
vehicles,
all of them.
the
And so-
fucking, the tiny little escort cars, everything.
all of
so
it,
you're
all of
seeing
it.
everything. I mean, when you're a fleet mechanic, you're
All
seeing
of it. All of it. All of it.
I
all
mean,
of
the
it.
only reason you would even hire a fleet mechanic is because you have an
Fleet,
insane
yes.
amount of vehicles
Yep.
and not just one type of vehicle.
So
Otherwise, you just outsource.
So
it.
that's where
pretty
I
impressive.
that's where I learned a
For
lot of my
10
stuff.
years,
10
too.
years. 10 years.
Yeah, so
And
you've seen it all.
dude,
in
I-
Minnesota, you've seen everything rust.
100%,
In
dude.
10 years in Minnesota,
Oh,
you've
yes.
seen every part of a vehicle rust.
100%. 100%.
Which means you've had to like cut,
100,
replace,
all of
weld,
it.
custom mold, bend.
Dude, all of it.
Like parts aren't made.
Yes.
Oh well, yeah.
That's
we
my
could,
rat
but-
rods. I make it out of shit on the ground. Like all of it. I built a trike and brought
No,
it to
we
Sturgis.
could do that, but it's
Dude, I got a
crazy. We
trike
gotta
that'd
get
blow
this
your
thing up
mind,
and
dude.
running.
I got a trike, a 1950, a huge lifted Jeepers Creepers. It's a monster truck.
I grew up around dudes like you. You guys are crazy.
Dude,
Like,
I've been doing
I call you guys mad scientists
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's literally like, especially when you guys have the actual equipment in your shop.
Yeah.
And I can just show up and I'm like, dude, I need this. And you're like,
Dude, I'll
okay.
make it in a heartbeat. I'm
Yeah,
building
and
shit
it's
right
like,
now.
okay, we
yeah.
got a piece of metal. We just got to throw this in the press brake. Boom,
Yeah.
40-degree bend. Okay,
Dude.
now we're going to turn it over here, weld this.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's as solid as a
Yeah.
fucking
Oh,
rock.
dude.
And then we cut out the old piece, weld in the new
gotta
piece.
see my tree
and
truck.
you're back off
Yeah.
and running in like 8 hours.
I rebuilt the entire boom of my tree truck, and it's all like wrenches, and it's so. I pull up, and homeowners come on and take pictures of it. Like, oh
but
my
none
God.
of you live in the Twin Cities.
No, I live in the woods.
Hour,
Yeah,
2 hours
yeah.
out.
I'm
Every
in the
single one
woods.
of
So,
you.
but
again, mad scientists.
yes,
you can't
I'm in the woods.
do what you
yeah,
do in the
no,
city.
hell no, hell no, hell
If
no.
if we were in New York or Chicago, you could.
Yeah, dude, I do some wild shit. So with that being said, fleet mechanic. Then I went to Rosemount in 2015, DCTC for welding, metallurgy. I'm certified in all like stainless
there you
steel, aluminums, all that.
I got to learn how to weld. It's like
Yeah,
the only thing I don't know how to do.
Yep. Oh, dude, a beast mode weld. I do ASC certified, fluid power, air brakes, airbag systems, like all that. Like I like handy. You know what I'm saying? Like handy with tools, stuff like that. So now my tree stuff,
How handy.
pretty handy. Hamburger helper guy, handy. Or that was somebody else. So I do a lot of hands-on shit. You know what I mean? I always say you can't buy cool. Well, you can for me. I'll build it. But
Like you, man.
I make ride around a car you made, wear an outfit you made, listen to music you made. To me, that's like badass, you know. And it's like people walk up everywhere I go, and they're like, I mean, just go to the grocery store. It's a 2-hour event because I talked to 15 people and they wanted to take pictures in the car and all this stuff. And I talked to all these people and walking advertisement of like, I'm living art, dude. I live art. I will never leave anything alone. I gotta customize everything I got. I got the ability to do it and the means to do it and the tools to do it in the shop to do it. So I do have, I make a lot of different wild shit, dude. If you come to the house, you'd just be like, one thing after the next, badass stuff. And my trike was badass, dude. It's super badass.
Is that your favorite stuff to do? Is
yes.
like what's your favorite type of art to do?
Well,
gun to your head, you can only do one type of art for the rest of your life. Is it music? Is it making clothes? Is it rat rods? Like, which one is your true favorite? Like, you can only do one for the rest of your life. God forbid.
Oh man, I that's so tough, dude. That's like, it's like pick your favorite kid of your children. Like,
classic story though. Classic story.
Yeah,
that's a classic story
tough.
though. Yeah,
it's tough. It's super tough because my ADHD,
usually whichever kid you pick is the wrong one.
Yep,
you should have picked the other way, right? That's the moral of all those shitty shakes.
Yeah. So, and my thing is, I got real short attention span. So I like to do a lot of shit because I get really sick of stuff quick, and then I like to come back to it, and then I'm always jumping around,
So music sounds like it would be
music
great
probably is.
Songs are only 3 minutes or 4 minutes long, right?
Yes. Music is yes. So music would have to be the art,
it's got to be, right?
It's got to be. It is my like first true like passion. I did, it's like all I know when it comes to like just real artistry.
Because as artistic as the rat rod shit is, that's also like legitimately just straight up engineering.
For sure, a ton of that too. Yeah, and that's why I do like the sewing.
There's a lot of creativity, but it's not.
Yeah,
exactly...
the music's strictly like art. I can't really draw. I don't like draw like things. I can do like graffiti art and stuff like that. But the original question you were saying.
Well, what are you doing now as well?
So
like, I know you're doing all this cool shit.
Yes.
What are you doing right now?
So I am.
You're doing Blue Felix. You got a show coming up in Iowa.
Yep, on Friday.
By the way, you can plug that.
Yes, yeah.
Where can people go to?
It's so the best place to start with a lot of stuff is tox.life, TOX.life. And that will bring you to my actual like website, and from there you can link to every social, YouTube, like everywhere. That's like where the spider web begins.
The hub.
And it's like a summary of me and what I do and the stuff. And there's videos and there's links to, there's buy some merch and stuff there. But it will then click to go from there. There's
exactly the same thing I wanted.
Pretty cool.
Go to his website, tox.life.
Tox.life. Yep. And that's the beginning of it. So there's music. I'm always building the cars. I started a tree company, which I grind stumps. I got a big stump grinder and I enjoy doing it. It's like, I'm manicuring the earth. You know what I mean? Yes. Yeah. So if you scroll down, like, Tox.life, it'll be, some videos, some simple, merch, hats. Of course, I can't keep it in stock. I made that outfit in 24 hours before I went to Miami. And that's where the designers, the shoes and everything. And then the designers dug my stuff. And then that's how I ended up in New York with that. And then, Lose It All, I was doing some pop style music. I obviously Blue Felix is heavier stuff, but I like all kind of music, dude. So I do some Toxsick when I do just the Toxsick solo stuff. Do some pop style stuff.
What did you record? Is that the video you did with Anthony D?
No, that one we haven't even got that out yet.
Sorry. I misspoke. Nobody knows who you're talking about. With the video you recorded with Darcy Poo?
Yeah. So,
Darcy Poo. What? He hates me for this. He hates me for this.
He's done.
And oh God.
So he did some recaps.
Darcy Poo. Which video did you record?
I'm trying to think. He did the recap.
Stop.
He did a recap for Rockfest and some stuff like that. So this is kind of where you go talk.
Should we play one of these videos? Dude?
Yeah, pick one. What style we want to listen to? I mean, that's a cover. She's like,
well,
the
what
wind.
are you doing right now? Like, what's your most recent thing you're trying to promote? You're playing in Iowa.
Yep. So
that's Blue Felix, right?
Yep. Blue Felix is still doing some shows.
So what here would best promote Blue Felix this Friday?
Okay.
Which video is going to be the best representation of what you're doing? That's
going to be probably, if you go up, Perfect Servant, because this is the current lineup. Oh wait, I think it disappeared. it was one of these. Maybe it was Way Up.
No,
The
that's
first
top.
thing. That.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So so. What has happened is the lineup has evolved, and it's all like kind of new members, and we've moved in a different direction, where it's very like electronic based to a degree. I don't know how to say it, but it's Blue Felix music that we've kind of reworked, and this still has live elements, but it is heavily driven with like electronic, just kind of like updating and refreshing the product. You know what I mean? It's like we've been playing it the same way for decades, so I'm trying a new spin on it. We have new stuff, but we also have like we've converted some old stuff. So this one would have the most current lineup, even though
right.
There's one or two member extra. But
Okay, well, let's play it. Let's play it. Let's
try
see.
this one.
Let's play it. Oh, what are you doing? You muted it? Unmuted, dude. Gonna be able to hear. What are you doing?
There you go.
Oh, there we go. I remember this. I've seen this.
So then at this particular time we shot the video, and then there's one girl missing, Kitty. These were like 5 girlfriends at the same time. Like
how many
Polly,
girls are
like
missing?
5. They were
Did
all
their
my
families
actual
know?
girlfriends, like at the same
Did
time.
their families know they're missing?
No, not missing. So
I'm kidding.
they're all.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
So I make all my outfit, yeah, but active current girlfriends at the same time. And then the outfits, of course. And we shot this in my studio.
So who shot this?
Steve, the Rat Rod guy.
Okay. Not Steve behind the board.
No.
Not my Steve.
And then, of course, with the girls, we did a lot of like adult stuff. The OnlyFans is popping. Like I do all kinds of stuff like that. Toxic Love is the plug on that one.
I don't think I've ever heard this. I thought I had seen this video.
No, this one's fairly new.
Yeah, you guys are fucking weirdos, man.
Yeah.
It's so funny too because people are like, "Oh, fucking no," but I love the weirdos, dude. The weirdos are what make life interesting. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like it's so funny because now I look so like boring and average, and I guess I kind of always was boring and average. I never did like the freaky weird shit, but like I've always loved the freaks, man. Like,
and now Salem's in the band. We ended up kind of breaking up. Like we had a lot of fun. I love her.
You guys are fucking weirdos.
She's now with the guitar player Joey, and they make a great couple. I have all the girls tattooed on my leg, all their names, and no, I would love them all always. But she's in the band now. And then now my current girlfriend she makes her appearance at the end in the tub.
Oh, bro, is that the fucking? There's so much going on. I can't even keep up to comment.
So here comes Kitty.
So
does
he have like the dubstep pad on his fucking bass?
Yep.
Those are fucking cool. What is that called?
It's Chaos Oscillator.
Oh, a Chaos pad, right?
A Chaos pad. Now here comes Kitty. She'll be in the tub. This is my current girlfriend right here with the knife. She's in the tub. So you can see the kind of.
Well, we're definitely getting flagged on YouTube for that.
Uh-oh. Well, it's on there, yeah. So that's like the more of the kind of current lineup and sound. So Blue Felix has kind of gone that direction. So I do Blue Felix still, always will, I'll never let it die, and I also do solo acoustic stuff, which is cover. I do like 3 to 4 hours, like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, California Dreamin' to Tom Petty's and stuff like that. Like just me having fun in a room, kind of just jamming, hired, by the hour. And then I joined a cover band called High Octane, and that's all also mostly 80s, 90s, and 2000s. I wanted the challenge, and I wanted to keep my chops up, and I've never done where I sing other people's stuff. And I'd always been like an original scene guy. I never did like the cover stuff, but I have a lot of fun with it. It's definitely different. It's challenging. It's fun. I like it a lot. It's really cool. So I got those 3 current projects, and then also there's another project I'm working on that, like I had spoke to you earlier about. He's a drummer in a band that a lot of people locally have heard of. They're a national act. We've toured together many times. Our bands, Blue Felix and his band, and all the years he's in that band, he's been writing riffs because he not only plays drums in the band, but he's incredible guitar player, incredible all the instruments. So he's made these demos, and there's no vocals on them. And so, also shout out real quick, Darko, but he's out of Detroit, Michigan. He's helped with a lot of the mixing and the beats. Darko's huge love. He's very well known. DVRKO. If you follow him, Darko, he's been helping us with all of the mixing and mastering and vocals. And our current one, Beast, for Blue Felix, he's been very driving in a production sense there. So shout out Darko, one of my best friends on the planet. Back to this other project we're working on. So he had written these demos, and he had been kind of scouting for someone to front/write/ lyricist in the front. And we'd known of each other when we crossed paths. They used to come through and play the rock, and bands would sell tickets and have battles of the bands to open up for them, and stuff like that. And one of my favorite bands. And we got reconnected, and we talked about that, and he was like, dude, I have to have you fronting my project. And I was like, no way, dude. This is badass. I love your musicianship, your live show for a drummer, badass, dude. So as I sit here right now, I called him on the way here, and I was like, dude, should I talk about the project? We've been working on this project for talking about it and demoing for since February, maybe December, and we've never said anything publicly, ever. Nobody knows. And we're going to wait till it's basically all there and then drop the whole thing and just boom, 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 tour, bam, everything lined up.
Right.
So,
so what are you saying? What are you trying to get at? What are you flirting with here?
Well, I was going to say,
are you trying to announce something?
Yeah. I mean, I've never.
Are you beating around proverbial bush?
Yes, because I hesitate because,
bro, slip it in. You've you've nibbled long enough.
Yes, I mean, let me check this.
What are you?
Yeah, I think.
Dude, I feel like you're leaving us with blue balls right now.
All right. Well, no. So
I'm just fucking with you, dude. It's so funny because I'm getting them all worked up. Take your time, dude.
Yeah. So I'm just checking this. Yeah.
Take your time.
So we've been working on this project for a while, and he's like, "Well, let's not say anything, out loud." And which I want to wait till we have the art and we got the whole stuff so we can just drop it and make it hot.
Or you could drop it on this super low key underground podcast.
Yes, that's what I was wanting to do.
Super dope way.
I want to. Let me just check this.
You gotta have faith, the faith,
yes.
The faith. I gotta have faith, the faith, the faith. Baby!
Sorry, dude. Yeah.
All right, hold on. Murph's got a question.
Yes.
Is that Jeremy?
That is not Jeremy Blake. That is that is somebody else. but I can see how you might get confused. No, that is not Jeremy's
No,
light.
no. Oh yeah.
That is someone else.
So if you go to that picture, that was yes. So that yeah. So we haven't announced it. That was at Michigan Metal Fest this year. Let's see. Oh, he's
Hold on. Zoom in on the crowd. This is my favorite thing to do in videos like this or photos like this. It's
Really? Oh, okay. Let me.
you can't zoom in on the crowd, huh? That sucks. Okay. Hold on. Okay, I found one. I love doing this. Okay, look at the dude in white. Yep. Now
Yeah.
look at, there's a chick behind him that you can't see her face. Yep. And then that guy. No, that guy. What is that guy doing? Like, we're going to take a video or a photo. And he's like, let me look at the sun. Blind me. All right. What have you found out? I love
yeah.
looking through crowd photos like that. Like, it's literally one of my favorite things because you can always find somebody doing one of the weirdest things. And honestly, it's usually me. I'll usually be like humping a friend or like doing something fucking dumb. All right. Well, we can talk about something else while we figure this out.
Yeah.
What time is it, by the way? I feel like we still got a little bit of time. Yeah, we're good. It's only 8:30. Yeah, we got a little bit of time.
Yeah. Rock one of these. So this is I started to dabble into the covers.
All right, this is perfect because I got to.
Yeah. We can
Wait,
play a
this
couple
is
videos.
a cover.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
we can't play this. We can't play this.
Oh, you can't play cover?
No, because here's the thing, dude. Is we're gonna get flagged for all this shit. If it's your music, I can claim.
Oh, okay.
I can be like, nope, he gave me permission, but you can't give me permission for a cover because you don't own the original publisher.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is super old.
This also sounds like shit though. Like, let's not play that. That sounds horrible. Just find like go back to his website and play one of the other songs, dude.
Yeah, if you go to the YouTube, I can or
Jesus Christ.
yeah, so, and that's like 2005, like old school.
Well, and it was somebody filming a video of a TV. Like it sounded horrible. Like I'm not when I say it sounded like shit, I wasn't talking about your performance,
yes.
bro. I was talking about the audio quality. Somebody had a video camera filming the audio coming from a television. Like
Oh
it
my God, yeah.
sounded like shit. Okay, that's super fucking loud.
Yeah, we rock Chicago.
Where is this, dude? Jake.
So
Where
this is at the Myth.
This is the Myth?
Yeah.
I've been to the Myth like 100 times. I don't recognize this.
Yeah. So the upper level back there.
That's how nondescript the Myth is
Yeah.
as a venue. Like, I've literally been there 100 times, and I don't recognize any of this. This doesn't look like the Myth to me.
Killer sound system, of course. You know, a lot of people hate the Myth, but
I do recognize the thing in the middle on the ceiling now, that big circle thing. So you were opening for Hairball at this show?
yeah.
That's pretty cool, dude. I didn't know Hairball had original bands play before them.
They usually don't.
Oh, but you guys.
But like I said, it's my bio dad, so we had been talking about it for a while.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you already said that.
Yeah. So and then like
That's so funny because I say that too. I say my bio dad.
yeah.
I say that too because I have a stepdad. I have a couple stepdads, and then I have my bio dad, and it's funny because when I say my bio dad, people are like, "Wait, so what? You're like a test tube kid?" And I'm like, "No, I just mean like my biological father. You fucking weirdo." I've never heard anybody use that phrase other
my
than
bio
you,
dad. I used to call my dad Joe. You
Yeah.
know, so I could decipher, and then I call him Dandy because he goes by Joe Dandy.
Oh, really?
Because it's like remember that go Jim Dandy go.
Well,
But
my
he
bio
kinda,
dad didn't raise me, so I call him Pop.
Yes,
I don't feel comfortable
yes.
calling him dad or father right?
Yeah,
So I
yes,
call him
it's
Pop.
yeah,
Because it's not like a cool nickname. I'm just like, you're my father, but like
yeah.
I didn't meet
Yeah.
you until I was like almost an adult.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
not even a slight at him either. It's neither. It's just like I'm not gonna call you dad or father or any of that shit, but I'll call you Pop.
Yeah, yeah. No,
'Cause
and that's
technically that's how I would call like an uncle almost. You know,
Yeah.
or a grandfather.
yes,
Yeah.
and it totally makes sense. So yeah, so that one.
What is this?
So what we
What
were
is
talking,
this?
yeah, like, we could watch a few videos. So the
Well,
reason I
got pissed.
hesitated.
So what are we watching?
So this one he just started to play is a song called "Show Your Face." It's original of ours. Actually, oh wait, no, okay, do this one. No, this is a live. We did an acoustic show, and so
What are we watching?
you're watching
I'm not getting frustrated with you. Like
the compilation of our acoustic show. So it'll play one of our songs over some B-roll, and then it goes into a live
this
performance
is over at Winterland
of the
with
first
Todd
song. Yep,
Fitzgerald,
of
right?
the first song I've ever written.
I got to get Todd on this podcast.
So-
I asked Todd to come on the podcast a long time ago, and he was so like, "Oh, dude," he's like, "I don't think I could have a conversation that long."
Yeah, and for me it's easy.
I'm like, "Come on, buddy.
So-
let me help
Real-
you have a conversation."
So pause real quick.
come
So
on the podcast, Todd.
yeah, so we'll watch this in a second and deposit. So the reason I was hesitating before is me and this guy have been working on this project, for, kicking around the songs and ideas and the demos for a while. So it's like I'm almost like
You can't make the
hesitating.
announcement yet.
I'm
We're gonna
hesitating
play this.
because
we're gonna play this.
yes, well, I want to
Okay,
tell him why.
You
So
know
if
what
he-
else I'm gonna do? Hold on though. When we play this one, I'm gonna mute the mics, so you can fucking figure this out.
Well, let me explain what's happening then. So he's gonna call me in a few minutes because I told him I was like, dude, what do you think about?
Well, we
Tell him
gotta
the
call
project.
Him. We gotta call him because we gotta have this like timed up and ready. He's got to be ready. We got to be ready. So
And the reason I'm hesitant is because we're both like haven't decided when it's gonna be, and I just hit him with the idea like an hour before I got here, minutes before I got here. Dude, should we announce it tonight?
Okay,
And
well,
so we're
here's
like,
what we're gonna do. Okay,
uh.
so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play this fucking
Yes.
song, and I'm gonna mute these mics. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Everybody, watch this music video. You got it queued up, Murph? Okay, good. So
Yeah.
they got the music video. They're not even gonna be able to hear us talk.
Okay, cool,
Right?
cool.
So we're gonna take a 5-minute break.
Yeah.
Watch this music video. We'll be back, and then you can
Okay.
patiently figure
Yes.
out.
No, it's figured out. He's just.
Okay.
I was
All
like,
right.
I want to make sure we can like almost announce it together, right?
Play the
I feel weird not
All right,
involving him to talk about it.
I feel you, dude. I feel you. So we're gonna play this music video and then mute the mics. Go for it, Murph. That volume on that fucking.
My reflection is another side of me. Hear my confession and let me be so I can wish the sun goodbye as I walk the night alone. Kiss the sun goodbye. I'd let the stories all be told. We can watch it all come down. We can watch it all away when it get the better side of me. Fill my prescriptions and set me free so I can wish the sun goodbye as I walk the night. Oh, kiss the sun goodbye. I'd let the stories all be told. We can watch it all come down, and we can watch it fall away when it all comes tumbling down. Oh, we better stay away. Thank you.
He's in our
Yeah,
circuit.
he blows glass
Cause I
in the
like
hideaway and stuff.
because I like recognize him and knew his name somehow.
Yeah.
So like, I wonder if I've met him face to face.
You probably
know.
have. He works with Wheeler now. Are you back live? Yep. Or record?
Yeah,
So so we watched a couple videos. So the reason I was hesitant is because we've been like building up this. We haven't talked about this project publicly at all.
You've been building up a what?
You know, because it was like, when's the right time? Is there ever a right time? I don't know. So I had the idea on the way here. I was like, well, what if we talk about things that we're up to? And I was like, might as well say we're working on this project. It will only like spark.
Yes.
You know, let's now
Yes,
now
Jake.
we said it.
Yes,
now we
Jake.
have to make it
Expose
happen.
yourself.
We have to
Do
say
it.
we're doing it.
Do
So
it. Unveil yourself.
yes. So we've been
Expose
talking about
yourself.
this.
Derobe.
Yes. All right. So I figured I would just call dude so we're together when we announce. So he hit me up. It's Trauma from Head PE. And he hit me up.
All right.
So I'm
And
gonna
then just
video
hold
him.
this
Yes.
up to your microphone. They're not going to be able to see shit, but yeah, just hold the microphone up
They
there
might
and
be
then
able to
hold
see.
on.
What up? You got Trauma?
My nigga.
What
Yeah,
up?
stay
What
on the
up?
main.
Yeah, man.
Stay
So
on the main.
I don't even
Hey,
see you,
what up,
nigga. Where
hey,
the fuck
what
are
up,
you?
man? What up? Well, the camera's over there, so
I'm trying to.
yeah. Don't worry
Hey,
about the
there he is,
video.
yeah.
There you go. Just,
Oh,
There he is.
just make it so. Yeah.
Okay.
Just
That's
keep
who
it
I
like
want
that,
to
as
see
long as we
first.
can hear.
Yeah,
God damn it.
yeah.
What's up, man?
What up, man? How are you? Yes.
Oh, I'm terrific. I'm taking a fucking break right now. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah. Hell yeah. It's
Yeah,
hydrating.
yeah. I had to
hydrating.
take a shit before you called me.
Hey, it's got to be done. So we were talking about shit that we had cooking, and like I said, I hit you up earlier, and I was like, well, dude, what if we talk about it now, man? What perfect timing. We've been sitting on it for a minute, and I'm like,
Correct.
you know, I haven't talked about it to nobody.
Well, no, so here's the beauty of it. Right? So, I sent you this shit like several months ago already. Heard what you did with your cell phone on it. I'm like, yes, absolutely. We just need to be in a room together in an actual setting, finalize it. The music's practically done.
Yeah.
I'm already set up to finish all of it there at the house after you do the vocals, because then there will need to be little things here and
Tweaks,
there or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But I'm super excited about it.
Same,
Here's
same.
what happened. So I mean, am I live or whatever? Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, you're
yes.
live,
I'm
dude.
trying to get you
Yeah.
a little bit in with the camera behind me. I
You're
don't know
live,
how
bro.
well it'll pick
no,
you
just
up.
just you guys talk. We can all hear you.
Okay, you
It's
can hear
dope.
everything, yeah.
Yep. It's good.
Okay.
You're
Well, I
live.
mean, shit. I wish I had, I wish I'd known about this podcast. I would have shared it on my shit, which I will after we're done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'll let
you
my
can
people
still
come
share it,
out
dude.
here and
Yeah, for
take
sure,
a
man.
look
You
and,
can still
and
share it.
enjoy it. So
Just tell them if they shit on me
obviously,
to be gentle.
quit, huh?
Just tell them if they shit on me to be gentle.
Ain't no one need to be gentle on shit. No, we are the opposite of gentle.
Yes,
Look at
yes,
this nigga's
yes.
hat. What the fuck are you talking about? Be gentle. Do you see this nigga's hat right now?
Getting it.
Ain't nothing gentle about this shit, knuckle.
Hell yes. 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 Yes.
This is what we doing. There ain't nothing gentle about my music, and certainly with the what my boy here is doing on our shit, that shit ain't gentle.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, which is kind of the beauty of it. It was almost like a perfect storm when we got together, because obviously Jake and I have been friends for, what are we, going on a decade? It's about a
Gotta
decade
be.
now,
It's
isn't
gotta
it?
be. Yeah, dude, for sure. Like 2013,
Because
14.
at least 2014 was Dirt Fest,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And we were already friends before that. So over a decade.
Wow.
We've been friends for over a decade.
Yeah. Damn.
You know,
Don't
time
feel
fucking
like
flies,
that, dude.
don't it?
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Like,
It's crazy.
and I always loved what he did, and he's appreciated the projects that I've been a part of, over this time, and I always wanted to work with him. So let's flash forward a little bit. Obviously, I quit Head PE this year after 16 years of being in the band. And, I was with American Head Charge for a couple of years, too. And I was with Mushroom Head for a couple of years. And, I got in this kind of like vortex of helping other people create their vision, and
That's
it
kinda
was
what I'm
it
doing
was
right
like
now.
one of these things for me which is fine. I'm not talking shit on that, you know what I mean, by any means, because it was an honor and a privilege to work with these
can I
other
ask you a
projects.
question,
You
dude?
know what I'm saying? So
Can I ask
you
you
know,
a question real quick?
hold on, I ain't done yet.
Did you do
hold
that on
Let me
purpose,
finish
though?
this thought, and then let's do some back and forth, But
But I want to ask
you
you
know,
a question
at this
on that.
point, when I quit, and I approached Jake, I was really excited to kind of have our own thing, because I wrote so much music. My partner in crime, Jared Jackson, he played guitar with Crazy Town for a while, and was my drum tech and our Head PE merch guy for 7 years, worked with us. We wrote a bunch of music. Some of our stuff made some of the Head PE albums, and a lot of it just sat, and we were just like so bummed that, we were sitting on all this music. So I thought about who I'd love to work with, and maybe who we should approach. And of course, Jake just came in my head. I'm like, that's the one I've had my eyes on a long time. So I hit him up, sent him a few tracks. We want to release this EP. He sent me back stuff that just on a cell phone with the music playing in the background. I'm like, yes. So we're going to get in the studio. We're going to release it soon. And I've got other music happening now. This is the most creative I've ever been in 16 years. The most freely creative that just, whatever happens, I'm going through with it. And it's so much fun. And it's great. And I'm so happy to be working with Jake here, because not only is he an awesome dude, but he's extraordinarily talented.
Thanks,
and
man.
I feel like that right now, it's our time to share with all these people we've been playing in front of for all these years. Let's show them what we do.
Yeah, for sure.
I think
For
they're
sure.
gonna love
I'm
it.
stoked. I'm stoked.
I I don't care if they love it or not.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to.
Yes, I think they will. I think they will. I'm really excited. The instrumentation that I heard was fucking badass, dude. It's nasty.
I mean, well, come on. We can't help it, man. We can't help it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
it was
saying?
good,
Like,
dude. It was
we're gonna make
real
ruthless, chuggy,
Yes.
grooving metal that everyone can bob their heads to, and they're gonna enjoy every bit of it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm
Because
stoked on
we
it.
do.
Yeah.
Because we do. Because it hits at home. It's got integrity.
Yep.
Every last bit of our music has integrity. That's one thing that, you know, I hate the idea of creating art for other people's benefit. Like, it fucking, to me, it's like, well, nigga, I don't give a shit what these other people are feeling right now.
Yeah.
You know, I care about doing the best possible art of what I'm passionate about when it comes to music.
Yep.
And so that's what this project is, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the heavy metal rock side of me, which is a huge passion of mine, mixed with my boy Jake, who I couldn't be happier that we're gonna release this shit with. You know what I'm saying? We get to join forces and do this, and I'm super excited about it.
Man.
So let's chat about it. Who are we talking with? What are we doing here right now?
Hey, what's up, dude? I had a question for you. You said something earlier. You mentioned you got caught in a vortex of creating other people's visions. Was that on purpose, or was that just like you were really good at it and it served a purpose, or were you like, hey, because I'm doing it right now. Here's a better way to ask this question. I'm doing this right now for several people, including myself. So basically, I'm helping myself and like 3 people launch solo projects, right? And it's very much deliberately on purpose. Like, that's the point. Because I'm like, hey, you're great. Let me help you take your vision and let's make that a reality. Did you do that same thing exactly that same way? Or was it like you kind of fell into it and you got caught into a vortex? How does that vortex happen? I'm super curious about that.
Okay, well, that's a great question. It's a great question. And let me answer that question. So, 16 and a half years ago, I was living ghetto fabulous, doing some the cover circuit in Orange County. I had just left the corporate America world. I was an executive VP of sales at a lending institution for a few years before I just said fuck all this and went back into music. Before that, I owned a chain of cell phone stores. The music business is my family business. My mom's lead singer in a Motown band called the Platters, legendary band, toured the world for 30 years. My uncle James played keys in Morris Day and the Time for a while. My uncle Gerald he was signed to Warner Brothers Records with his funk band called Slapback and was the music director for Jordan Sparks when she won American Idol. I mean, music is like my foundation. It's what I grew up on. But I wanted to be the black sheep of the family. I wanted to go and just make a lot of money and, do that, as I thought that was what was important. Well, long story short, I was missing something, so I went back into music, and I was doing the cover circuit with my family. Me and my stepdad, we had a band called the Flock of 80s, which was like the most punk rock, new wave 80s band you've ever seen in your life. And it was so much fun, and my cousin made a wrong phone number to his friend, who worked at a studio across the alleyway from where Head PE was auditioning drummers all week after Tiny Bubs quit. And my cousin was coming to see my band that night. It was called Bloodbath and Beyond. And it was like all like 90s grunge, metal, thrash metal, that kind of shit. He was going to bring this girl. He accidentally called his friend, and then they just started talking. He said, I'm going to go see my cousin play drums. Flash forward, Jared goes into the studio and said, hey, does anyone know a drummer? We're auditioning drummers. We need a drummer. He wasn't happy with any of the drummers. And my cousin's friend was in the front. His name was Mark. My cousin's friend was in the front there at the time when he asked, he said, I just talked to my friend. His cousin plays drums. Do you want to try? And Jared was like, yeah, please, dude, let's get him going. And so I never heard of Head PE before I joined Head PE. They connected me. My cousin called me all excited. He got me this audition for Head PE. And he said, dude, I got you an audition for Head PE, bro. Like, it's fucking Head PE, bro. I know that you're going to smash this. I'm like, what is Head PE? Like, what is it exactly? You know, and he was like, you never heard of Head PE? I'm like, no, I don't know what the fuck it is. You know, what are you talking about right now? And they told me it was a band, and they were signed. He was like, dude, they're fucking legendary to do all this shit. I'm like, all right, well, you know, I was living ghetto fabulous. I didn't really give a fuck. You know, I just wanted to keep getting fucked up and doing my thing. And which I did that night. I did all the blow and fucking had the greatest fucking time ever and didn't even regard it. I talked to Jared and he emailed me 6 songs, 6 MP3s. I didn't even listen to them. I didn't give a shit. Like, I went and did my show and partied my ass off and took like a 2-hour coke nap. Borrowed my friend's car to go to this audition because my car was in the shop. Brought my like double kick pedal, my snare, some of my shit, and burned the CD on my laptop so I could listen to it on the way. And when I heard it, I was like, oh shit, this is dope. You know, like I can do this shit. I can do this shit in my sleep. You know, this ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, oh, this is going to be easy as fuck. Now I just need to try to remember these parts on the way. Yep. They were auditioning drummers in Westminster, and I was living in San Clemente. This is all in Orange County, by the way, Orange County. So anyway, I went up there, and I auditioned first. All these other drummers were there. They kicked everyone out, and they were like, we want you to do this. And long story short, without any details, that's how I fell into this. I didn't even necessarily want the gig. To be honest, I was like, I didn't know my worth at all. I was like, how would I size up to other real pro drummers? I was just curious because I had no idea. I'd never auditioned in any gig ever in my life, you know? And so I just wanted to go and see how it would, like, you know, what the other drummers were doing or, you know, all this shit, you know, like I was just curious, you know what I mean? And then they wanted me. Damn. And I was like, oh, shit. And I had gigs that weekend, and they had gigs that weekend. I'm like, oh, well, you know, is it this week? Do I have to, like,
right
so
now?
is this
right
it?
Now?
Like, you know, yeah, it was like right now. So I literally, like, fell into this. Yeah. And that's so to answer your question, what do you mean about the Vortex? This is not my band. Head PE had been established for a lot of time before I was a part of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Way before I was a part of that shit. I joined in 2008. Yeah. This story happened in November of 2008. And I started playing shows with them in November of 2008. So obviously Head PE already had a career and already had a stamp in the industry and in our demographic way before I did. You know what I'm saying? So again, and B, it's not like the band that you form with your homies. You know what I mean? Like where you're trying to express yourselves as you and your homies.
Yeah.
It's me being in this already legendary band. Mm-hmm. So I'm, you know, doing my best to bring what I know with my funk background, R&B background, all that shit. You know, I'm bringing that into the metal. And for that 16 years, that definitely held weight. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was in it for 16 years. Yep. The Head PE had you know, there were like 7 different drummers before I joined the band. And then I've been in the band longer than all of the drummers combined.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yes, I wanted to be a part of it. I enjoyed the material. I enjoyed the people. They're all wonderful people. Jared and I are still tight. I love Jared. I love the organization. I love all of it. But there's always, at the end of the day, to answer this question, like, how do you fall into helping other people create their vision? Well, it's their vision. You know what I mean? And I'm a tool in their toolbox
Yep.
at that point. You know, I went into Mushroom Head, and when I was doing shows with Mushroom Head after Lil Dan quit to go work with Marilyn Manson, I took over and I was playing a Mushroom Head. And it's like, I'm again falling into this platform, you know, where it's already established, and I'm bringing what I have into that creation. You know, Ventana, played shows of Ventana, which is a side subsidiary of Mushroom Head, if you will. You know what I'm saying? I love Rick. We still homies. I loved that band too. But again, I fell into this vortex of being the go-to guy because all of them wanted me to bring what I had into their vision.
Yeah.
You see? And so that's what I mean when I say that, is that the vortex of helping other niggas create their vision, which is, you know, it's cool. And I'm not bitter about it by any means. You know, I definitely upped my profile. You know, at that time, I was, like I said, living ghetto fabulous, doing the local circuit. Everyone loved me and loved what I did. Now, on a global level, everyone who's seen me loves me and loves what I do. So there's no question that I upped my profile and got benefits out of this. But at the same time, creatively speaking, like that was something that was missing a lot because there wasn't a lot of creative stuff. And even when I would write stuff, it wasn't like I said, like a regular band where it's like, all right, well, you're in the band, you've been in the band this long or whatever. These songs just need to be in there because this is an expression of us as a band. You know, there's not that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's where the you know, kind of nebulous, weird area is that, you know, where it's like, well, what does that mean to you? What does it mean to me? All these kind of things. And you know, and all of those things, by the way, have nothing to do with why I left the band. I left the band because I have a family, and and as a family man, I will tour. Absolutely. I will go out and do that, but I cannot continue to do that in the capacity that isn't the absolute greatest for my family unit. And that's all it is, you know, that's literally all it is. You know, I love the organization. I did literally absolutely everything that I could to stick around in with the head PE organization. You know, I did. I was like, I took over the driver shift in the salary. You know, so I could try to get out there.
Wearing
but again, like, I did, dude. I was driving full time and drumming. Worked myself to death. And because of how much I love Head PE and how much I love Jared and love all of them, you know, I wanted to stay in there to make that happen, you know, and it just did not work out to the benefit for my family, really. It all comes down to my family. I started breeding late. I got a 3-year-old and an 11-month-old. So, you know, and I'm 41. So it's like, you know, I'm at this stage right now of fatherhood, and it has to be right. You know, I have to, the ends have to justify the means, and to leave my beautiful children and my family, it just, you know what, it just did not work out. However, I always want to play music with Head PE. When they come to Michigan, I always have the opportunity to play. And our Michigan people have come out and said, yes, Trauma, yes, we want to see, you know what I mean? So there's that too, because I would never want to lose being able to play music with these people either. But to answer the question, I hope that answered the question in its entirety about falling into the vortex of being a tool in a toolbox. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, it did. And I have one more question. Next time you're in Minneapolis, will you come on the podcast?
Oh, absolutely. I love Minneapolis. You know, again, I was in American Head Charge. Some of my, you know, Benji's out there, and every time that I would tour and come out there, Benji would come out and say, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Because we're still good friends. We still talk and want to work together as well. We had an amazing tour in fucking 2017, man.
Yeah,
we fucking Jake
I
cruised out
surprised him in
to
Amsterdam.
on that tour.
Yeah.
Came up.
Amsterdam.
Yes.
I pulled up in Amsterdam. This dude, look on your face was like, what?
Oh my
How the
God!
hell
I
did you
couldn't
get
believe
here?
it. I could not believe my eyes. Like, Jake, what are you doing here? Are you serious? You're here?
Yeah.
So naturally, I had to party my ass off. Got all the fucking blow, all the Molly, because on that particular tour, it was fucked up. Like, with Head PE, I'm like, sober on stage every night. I don't fuck around. The moment I clock out,
Yeah.
I'm
Turn
getting
it
more
up.
fucked up than every nigga everywhere.
turn it
You know
up,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? But with American Head Charge, it was different. It was like, well, we all getting fucked up all day, every day. Let's go. And so too, it was a different experience and fun that honestly, I fucking love that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they got down, and every fucking night there was no shortage of greatness in the performance, which is what I loved about that. Like, we went and we partied, we had a great time. I partied the most, you know, because I saw that everyone else was just having a good time. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna fucking do this shit. I'm gonna have a good time. I'm gonna have myself a good time.
And that's the thing with Cam, dude. Even no matter how much he's partaken, he was still just kill it. He just
Cam,
dude.
man, there's something to be said about that nigga.
He
Because
can
I'll
rip.
tell you
He
what,
can rip, man.
that dude, every night, he's, they're like some vocalists that just got it. You know what I mean? Like there's like that thing or whatever. Jared, one of them, absolutely. He's just, that's where he's supposed to be. Cam, another one of them niggas. And what's so crazy about Cam is that he's hitting notes and
He's good,
screams, and it doesn't matter. Like, none of the extracurricular activities mean shit when it came down to getting on that performance. That's why it was so inspiring. And I was like, I need to participate. I need to be this wild too. I need to match this energy. And sure enough, the moment that tour was over, I flew right into the next show of Head PE and continued touring. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm wearing a lot of hats, dude.
And you know what you sharpened in that toolbox over 16 years. You're so fun to watch, dude. Like, I'm just in awe whenever, that's why I knew it, dude, with the cymbals up high. And I was like, damn, this dude's sick. I knew from day one. I was like, man, I just your drumming technique, the style behind it, like the funk background too, what that brings to it is so different than the traditional metal dude, but to bring that heavy is super dope.
Dude,
super dope.
That's what I'm telling you. Like, one of the crazy things is that funk belongs with fucking heavy, sludgy metal. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a match made in fucking hell. You know what I'm saying? It's a match made in hell, and it belongs there. And that's why Head PE, like, opened up my eyes to some of this shit. Because at that time, when I joined Head PE, I wasn't big into, funk is and R&B and shit and soul. That's what I was raised on. That's my family. That's, how we did it. But my passion is metal. Like, it was like always heavy metal and crazy fucking extreme metal, and gangster rap. I love gangster rap. But you get these things happening, they meld. And so and that's one of the things that in drumming, that's your foundation. I'm not trying to go, no. I want every single nigga in that audience to be able to do this. Like,
Bob. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Girls can't be sexy over. No, they can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Straight up, and that's what I love about what our music has and what we're doing is that it's got the thrash foundation, but you be bobbing your head through that shit.
It's
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the raw traditional metal foundation, but you'll still be bobbing your head to that shit.
Yeah.
You know,
So
and
what's
that's
the
why
name
it's
of
so
the
fun. I
project
love
you
that
guys?
shit. It's another way to express, you know, and it's so much fun.
And he just asked,
So
which I
what's
was
the-
waiting.
what's
What's
the
the
name of the
We kind
project?
of collectively.
Oh, well, you know, we got some names, but we can never say it now. I can't say that shit right now. We got names. There are a bunch of options.
Yeah, there's
But
one
we can't say it right now.
Decided 100%.
We have to create it first. There needs to be the whole, you know, we got to have all of the Legos stacked.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at in fatherhood right now. The Legos have to be stacked right first before we can tell anybody. And then once the Legos are stacked up, then we'll let y'all niggas know.
We haven't locked anything in yet, you know, and we feel like if we do drop it, we'd be maybe committed, or anything we would come up with after, we may not have the same ring or something, you know. We feel like we.
Oh no, we got the shit. There's some names on this.
What do you
shit.
guys think of the
That
band
needs to be
name?
stamped because
just jokes aside.
it properly represents the theme
Never mind. I'm not even gonna.
and everything. But we can't talk too much about those things right now, only because it hasn't been released yet. However, what I could say is that the theme of this is it's pain. You know, that's one of the things that Jake and I both can naturally express in our sleep in a way that all of our people will understand, but most importantly, in a way that we really love, and in a way that it hits on the inside. You know, the pain, tragedy, all of that shit, it comes through in our music. That's why our music has integrity. Yeah. And so what we're going to release that's the theme of it, of course, is pain. Just like all my music.
Yeah. People resonate with that,
and you're drumming, and are you writing guitar for it too?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
One of the songs that we do, and I fucking played bass, rhythm guitar, drums, and my writing partner, he plays the leads. You know, he does the solos. I don't do solos and shit, but you know, I play everything. You know what I mean? Like I play all the shit. But you know, me and my writing partner, we like also really complement each other. Jared Jackson is his name, like I said earlier. Great guy, and him and I are just like, when we sit down in the room together to make music, we're like this.
Yeah, insane.
You know what I mean? Like, we tried so hard to make music for an idea or a different theme or whatever, and in doing so, we wrote the greatest shit of ourselves.
Yeah. That's when it happens.
Like,
that's when it happens.
No, it's like, how the fuck did that happen?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how the fuck did that happen? And because we can't help but make the heaviest, sludgiest groove kind of fucking shit, because that's who we are. And I feel like the missing piece is sitting in that studio with you right now.
I appreciate that, man. I feel like as soon as I heard it and I just started, it was just flowing. It was just flowing out, man.
It was so natural. And so we're going to do this shit in Detroit. I got, you know, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I'm also doing rap shit, which I discovered that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can rap too.
Yeah.
So I started fucking rapping and shit. I got that shit coming out. Right now is, in my opinion, the golden age of creativity for Trauma. And all who I am associating with and who are going to be a huge part of what we're going to create together collectively. Yeah. And this motherfucker right there, it's like the missing trifecta. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's up. You know, I got me, I got my lead guitarist who's fucking solid, who has the same vibe, has the great riffs, and then we can balance each other on the music, do all the shit. I'm playing bass and drums and some rhythm guitar. He's doing some rhythm guitar, doing all the lead shit and some bass too. We're just like this, him and I. And now we got this trifecta who we haven't even had a chance to really sit down and go in this shit, but he sends me this shit. I'm like, oh shit, that's what we need. That's what we need.
Yes.
Very cool.
That's it.
I'm excited for it. So
Can
what
we play a track, or
do
is
we-
it still too early?
I don't even think all we have is like singing over the song. demo.
Absolutely not.
No, it's like
I ain't
so
playing no
crude.
tracks right
But-
now. You kidding me?
Well, we'll have you guys.
We can't
we'll
leak
have
this
you guys
shit.
back on. We'll play
You're a
it. We'll play it
professional,
with you
goddammit.
together.
You know what I'm talking about. You can't leak none of this shit.
Yeah, no, and that's why I've been quiet. That's why I was like, do we even bring it up? Like, we haven't spoke of it, but I'm so
Oh, no.
excited about like, what it
I
is.
spoke
you
of
know?
it. I've said it. I've planted the seeds
Yeah,
already. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? I've dropped you in this shit.
Yeah.
I planted the seeds.
Yes.
Our people, and by the way, our people are just chomping at the bit, waiting for this shit to come out. You know, when they're like, with Jake, oh shit, this is gonna be
Yes.
fucking great. Like, all of our people right now are so excited. So, and I'm excited to share it with them because, again, it has integrity, it's honest, it's a pure expression of all three of us,
Yeah.
you know, giving it to the world. Like, you know,
Heavy riffing,
here's
very
where we're at.
groovy with,
If you
spoken,
like it, great.
happening,
If not,
singing,
great. You know?
Very like traumatic vocals about past and just the inner, you know, it's sadness and torture and just spewing it. What I was talking about before.
You got to
like-
talk into that mic, dude.
Oh, sorry, it's hard with the microphone, dog. But
You should
well,
switch it back and
Okay,
forth.
okay. So, well, with that being said, dude, like, it's in the stages of creativity. I wanted to put it out there because I'm super excited about it. It's still in its infancy enough where it's not ready to show. It's very like, it's very naked yet. We got to hone it, but the materials that we have to work with is fucking awesome. Just even in its
Fucking fire.
It's-
absolute fucking fuego. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, there's not going to be a single person that will hear it and be like, oh, that's poo-poo. That's caca. No, they'll be like, oh,
I
shit.
should hope so.
Like, you know, but you know what? I don't even give a fuck what they think about it because I'll tell you right now, I'm telling you it's fire. Therefore, it is fuego. Because I know.
Yes.
I know what's fire. I know what ain't fire. This shit is fucking fire.
And I'm super honored like that we came together on it. Super stoked. Like I say, like just you as a musician, an artist, I've always watched you play and was like, God damn, just the energy. You can tell like a lot of times the drummer can get lost in the band. You know, a lot of people, their favorite, bands they go see, they're like, we don't really know the drummer. But when you go and you watch the drummer, you're like, oh shit, that guy fun to watch.
Man,
Yes.
my man.
Well, with
Man, after being in Happy for 16 years, I got tons of people that are always asking, what are you doing next? You know what I'm saying? And I'm taking my time. I'll make sure that we're doing this right because at this point, we're not tools. We're doing our own thing. It's got to be a proper business endeavor. It's got to have a proper plan. But none of that's going to trump the art. And that's the beauty of it. I think is that, we're going to stay true to our art. And it was like I told you, you said, well, I remember this conversation, like, well, what do you think? Like, are you looking for me to do like this? Or are you looking, and I said, I'm looking for you to express yourself. You remember that conversation?
yeah, no direction. Because I was like, well, what do you want me to do? Like, just do you. And I was like, well, shit.
To be you. That's what I want you to do. I want you to, I want you to have integrity and put it on this fucking music here and let's create it together and that's going to be the shit. That's what it is. It's not, that's what it was. I'll never forget it because I was in a parking lot on tour when I had this conversation with you. I was like, I was like, I just gotten some Wendy's, fucking still wasted from the night before, you know what I'm saying? I was like, and we're talking about, no, this isn't about like what I'm trying to do. This isn't about, I'm trying to form a band to where we all are on the same page so we don't have to have this conversation.
Yep.
It's like I was saying, like, there's no direction. Just do you and put it out. And you're like, all right, well, yeah, man, I can do a bunch of stuff with the clothes. I like to do the kind of like steampunk thing. Is that going to be a problem? Like, what about my fashion? Dude, again, you are going to be you. I'm going to be Trauma. Pete's going to be Pete. We call him Pete because his real nickname is Party Time, which turned into PT, which turned into Pete. You know what I mean? So, which is Jared Jackson. Pete's going to be Pete. Niggas are going to be themselves. And we'll just see what the fucking marketplace says.
Yeah, I'm
If they want to keep having us do shit. If they want to keep having us do shit, we're going to keep doing it. If they don't want to have us keep doing shit, we're going to keep doing it.
yes.
That's it.
I super agree. Well, I just want to at least touch base. Like I said, it's still pretty infant. That's why I kind of just kicked her on the idea of mentioning it tonight and kind of at least, putting the seed kind of out there so people can kind of, know there is more, to be worked on. So,
Niggas know.
so well, I
Dude, I still get DMs all the time saying, hey, is that thing with you and Jay still a thing? Or is it going to be like, yes, absolutely it is. We got a lot of shit in the works right now. We're doing a whole lot of things. We're busy niggas.
well, let me, yes, but it's all going to happen. So with that being said, let me know when you think we want to fly out and we'll get after it. And I'm ready, dude. I'm ready.
In the D-Town.
You guys can't announce a band name yet?
We're not telling you that yet.
Have you narrowed it down to like 3?
I told you I ain't telling you shit.
Have you narrowed it down to like at least like a few different options, like maybe 3 different options?
Yeah, we already, like I said, we already got the names for the shit. You know what I mean? Like that. I mean, it's all there. We talked about it already before too. Like what we were talking about, what the name of this shit's gonna be. Yes, and to answer your question, yes. We just can't share it right now.
Okay. All right. Well, I respect that.
It's top secret.
I respect that.
But
And when you're in Minneapolis, I respect it. I respect
you
it.
keep up with the
I
socials.
Listen, I respect it. I respect it. I appreciate it. When you're in Minneapolis next time, we'll talk in depth. I vibe with you. I share a similar story. I don't want to exaggerate, but like I relate to you a lot. So I understand it, man. We'll have a nice long conversation. It'll be great. Either you can come in by
And I'll
yourself or
get
the two
Benji
you
in there
can come
too. As long as you let Benji come with me. You're in Minneapolis?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so Benji's got to come with me too, if he wants to come with me, if you don't mind.
No problem.
All right, because that's my homie.
Yeah.
My homie out there in Minneapolis, dude. We fucking did American Head Charge together. He's a fucking great dude.
Right.
And every time I'm out there, him and I are just roll dogs. You know what I'm saying? So
Hell yeah.
I
Well,
love it, dude.
yes.
come with me,
No
and
problem,
then we're
dude.
going to have a great time.
Done deal.
He's
We'll make it happen,
coming.
man.
All right, brother. Well, let me know. We're going to wrap this up, and then let's pick a time, and we should get in the studio because I got slow season now. I'm ready to make art.
Let's make it happen, man.
Well, let's go.
All right, brother.
Have some drugs waiting for the niggas.
All right, it's on. All right, I'll give you a buzz, man. I love you.
You can be sober all you want. Just leave a mountain of cocaine for the troms.
Yes.
I'm ready to go.
You know how we do it. All right, I love you, dog. Let's catch up soon. I love you later. I love you too, dog. I can't wait.
Hey, put me back over to your boy over here. Hey, thanks for having us up here, man. Oh, he's sad I said some
No, I'm
shit.
not sad. I've just realized I've lost complete control of my own fucking podcast for the first time in the
you took
history
it
of my
over.
show. 169 episodes, and this is the first time I've lost complete and total control of my own show. So it's a first time for everything. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
I love you, man. I don't know you,
All
but I
love.
already love you.
I can't wait
love
to
you,
do this
Jake.
again with you.
I love you guys.
Can't wait to do this with you.
Fucking, this is chaos. I love it.
I love you, bro.
I love
I'll
it.
hit
This
you
is
up.
insane.
Love. Later.
Bye, you guys. Later.
Love you. Like,
Yes. So,
dude, oh,
so with that being said, we've been kicking around the idea. There's a lot of passion in it. We totally can. We totally can end it on that. I just
What time is it? We basically have to, regardless.
Yeah.
Okay, so where can people follow you? It's tox.life. TOX.LIFE. That's your website.
And Tox.life. All
And
the links are from there.
That's your hub, and from there,
Yep.
your spider web will
Yes,
cascade
and
up.
it gets you everywhere.
All the socials, all
Yes.
your projects.
You
Your
can
clothes,
find me-
your hot rods, your music.
You can find it all
everything.
on there. You can find it all on there. And just
I
to,
love it.
just to touch, that's why I was
Brilliant,
kind of
dude.
like, well, he's very adamant about, I don't know yet. Like, I
don't-
wanted to
we
let
don't-
people know, but,
We don't know the name of your project, but you also can't confirm or deny whether the name of your band is We Like Butt Stuff.
It's super close.
It definitely could be that
It
name.
is. It
and you
could
can't
be.
deny it.
No.
You can't.
And if we
You're contractually obligated
if we choose that
to not
name,
say that
you'll
your
have to
band
get a
name is,
percentage. Yes.
You guys all like butt stuff.
Yes. Well, I was just stoked about it. Just with that being said, the art will never stop. I am a lifer. I will always do music. I can never give it up because it is in the blood. It's just what it is. It isn't a fad. It isn't a whatever.
Right,
You know, a lot of people come and go for the wrong reasons, but then there's guys like us that are just, I'm stuck, man, whether
Well,
I like it or
It was a
not.
pleasure getting to know you tonight,
sure,
dude.
brother.
We'll do it again soon,
Cool.
very soon. If you guys want to follow me for whatever reason, all my socials are Jared Singer Live. I'm doing music again. I'm playing drums, blah, 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 blah,
Awesome.
blah. Everything's Jared Singer Live. Like and subscribe. Help us get to all that shit. It helps the producers get paid, blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
We love you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Much love.